welcome to the Exploding Heads Horror Movie Podcast, episode 231. I'm Dave. That's
Yeah,
Christian.
I'm Christian. Yeah, you didn't miss a beat. I hit record and Dave just like snapped right into it. Like bada boom. Old school.
I'm professional, man. Say what you will, but when that red light goes on,
Go
forget
bang.
about it. Yeah, that's it. That's right, you bang. Right. I just watched that not too long ago too. What you call it's the
Search.
Never Hike Alone and
Oh,
the whole
oh,
nine. And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
not Friday Six, no. But the dude was in there and he did that whole thing, and they made him say "ya bang" again and
Like five times
whatever.
over. But it's fun. It's
Of
like once you
course,
got a catchphrase, that's it. Like then it's like, let's just make you say it. On delay, on delay.
that fuck that movie,
I
I
love
tell you.
I
But
love
you can
bringing it out of you.
understand. But you could understand that complaint about somebody saying something once in one movie and in the next movie amping it up to 11 when
Yeah.
it's really unnecessary. I mean, come on. Underlay 100 times, and he says bitch once in part three, and it says it like 6 times in the next one, and it's just
Well,
you know
I, here we are again
formulaic.
on the road to the top 50 slasher show, no
Yeah,
franchise, and we're gonna do a rinse and repeat. I think of last week, which is just talk about what we watched. Which most of everything I watched was slashers, uh, and not
true.
necessarily good ones, but ones that I wanted to revisit or ones that I just happened to catch my eye that I hadn't seen. So I thought, okay, I mean, they're slasher. I mean, again, kudos to Tubi. The only thing Tubi's done wrong is they're stupid. They just changed their logo and it's a stupid looking logo. I like that
They
old
changed
red,
it.
yeah, red on black. It's now like yellow on purple
Oh,
or
I didn't
purple on
know. I
yellow,
didn't.
one of the two. But I'm like, you don't have to change your logo just to change your
Oh,
logo.
happens constantly with apps and everything, and now they all look the same. So many apps on my phone changed their look, and then I couldn't distinguish one from the other. Like I just had to change the Patreon one to freaking look what I did because they changed it not too long ago. But it's black, and my movies is black. Letterbox, Just Watch,
Oh,
and they're all close to each other. But you see what I did with the Patreon one? Can you see that thing right there?
yeah, I did the
Probably
same thing.
not with
Mine's
this.
mine's like bloody red.
Mine's like, yeah, mine's like a tie-dye looking thing. And it's kind of cool. It's like purple and
Yeah.
yellow.
I don't
But
know if you can see
at
mine. Mine's
least
like, oh, mine's bloody red.
don't start that stuff from last week again with freaking rain and balloons and all
What are you
that,
talking
you know?
about? I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, a thumb up is okay. See, that's
Yeah.
that's not egregious. A little thumb up. Do you think mine will work now? No.
No, you have
So
to
I
have the
need a new
newest,
computer.
you need the newest operating system, I believe. And the reason
The
it
OS.
started,
All
the
right.
reason that whole thing started and I got like so freaking excited about it is because I said I watched one and then I went into two movies and I held it like that. And then the balloons came like that. That's what I
One,
did.
two.
But yeah, and you just have to keep holding it. But you need the new iOS. I think you're probably one or two iOS behind. And I don't recommend it based on what you've complained about on your computer, because that will probably destroy your computer and then in turn destroy you.
What?
Updating,
Uploading
updating to the
iOS.
new iOS. I
Dude,
don't
I
recommend
can't
it for you.
stand updating. I can't stand updating. I every time,
I
and they
can't stand it.
eventually make you. Oh, dude,
Yeah.
it's the worst. Yeah, can't stand you. Dude, it's the worst. Like my favorite phone was like the iPhone 7. I think I had a 7 Plus, it was called. And that thing I had it for like 3 years and it was the best phone. And it got to the point where things I couldn't do things with the iPhone 7 anymore based upon whatever Apple was doing. So
Yeah.
I had to freaking upgrade. And I knew it that day I went in. I said, well, I'm never going to have days like this again. I'm never going to be this happy with a phone again. And I knew it. And subsequently, every phone since none of them are as good as that iPhone 7 was. Like I had one grand thing. I was like, oh, this is the perfect phone for me. I've had no issues. It loads right, everything. So whatever. I mean, it's what do they say? It's what's that expression? I got COVID head. I got no brain anymore. First world problems. That's the thing,
I
you
thought the
know.
expression was I got COVID brain.
Well, I can't think anymore. Imagine if I were like on an actual show, like a Howard Stern, and my brain went the way it did.
What?
They might kick me off.
Or they keep you on as part of the new whack pack. Do you think like if you were dim, like if you're stupid, you suddenly become intelligent? Like, does it work the other way too? It's kind of like my theory that you burn them back normal. Like if Freddy was thrown into the fire, would he burn back to normal?
I know, right?
It's
Imagine
just,
that
it's
somebody was
such a
like,
stupid, it's such a stupid joke and it's such a stupid idea. Yet that's how my mind kind of works in thinking things like that. Like, so would an idiot suddenly be a scholar?
"Wow, thanks for considering me a scholar prior to COVID." But I would say no. It'd be
That would
cool
be
though if it did
that means
happen
I would
for
think you're an
them.
idiot now, which I don't think you're an idiot now, but
Well,
it's
I'm
funny. Yeah.
borderline, man. I'm on two spectrums. I'm already on the spectrum for whatever ADHD I have, and now I'm on the spectrum for all mental health, is the way I would put it. It's freaking nuts. It's just nuts. But that's another story. Nobody wants to hear about my woes and dude, I'm cool. I'm happy. I'm all right. You know what I'm saying? I'm chill. I have the right attitude, and
Well,
that's what
yeah,
you got to
and
make the
and we
most
got
of it,
horror.
dude.
We got horror, we got the group. What did you end up how many did you end up watching last week?
How many
Movies.
movies did I watch
Yeah,
last week? Let's see here.
since we
Check it out.
recorded last.
Well, I'll go to. Oh, actually, here's the easy way to do it. Just go to my letterbox to not even because not everything. I write down all the slashers, but I don't write everything. What the hell is this? Oh, sorry. I was looking at activity and thinking, what's this? A comprehensive list. It was because I liked something. See, I find these random slasher lists on Letterboxd, and so
Yeah,
I'll like them so I can go back to it and use that for homework.
reference. Yeah.
Yeah, for reference. So let's see. Oh, I didn't put something on there from yesterday, but let's see. The last thing we did was last week. I've watched well, that doesn't count, but if I'm just looking at movies, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Oh, wow,
11
okay.
movies.
Okay, I
One
did
of them
9.
was
That
was
was
last
9.
night though, and it's not a horror. Well, it is horror. It's just not a slasher. But it's the next chapter in the Blackwall Ghost series. Now they're on part
Oh,
8, actually.
oh, oh,
So
wow, okay.
I watched that last night and I enjoyed it the same way I enjoyed the others. But I felt like I had to watch part 7 before to refresh what was going on. Because the thing about these Blackwall Ghosts is it started off as one thing and then progressed into something else. Like the first was just like a standard found footage. I'm in a house and supposedly it's haunted type thing. But now it's on some other kick, and it's hard to explain. But it's cool because they're only like an hour and change long,
Found
and it's
footage?
just yeah, and it's mostly a one man show. It's the guy using his webcam and he's on his computer and he's in his car and he's doing his research. But I mean, if you don't I guess I just like the guy. If you didn't like the guy and his personality, he seems like a nice guy. He's cool. He's easy to on your
Uh,
screen. He's chill and what he says. So I guess if you are okay with that, you just don't care. Like I've watched all of them now, and I like it, man. And it's
and that
interesting. Now it's on a serial killer type mystery thing and he's being targeted, and it's interesting though. But
are you on that
you know,
are you on that site still, the found footage site? Are you still part of that? Or
well,
that group or
I'm
whatever it
going
was?
to have because I'm not really on the Facebook. I'm
Oh,
not really on
yeah,
it. But what I'm going to do is
true.
this.
Yeah.
I just reactivated my initial Facebook account just because my wife wanted to tag me in something and I wanted to have it there and make a post myself and then get off. So I'm almost at the 48 hour. When that comes, I pull a plug for a long time anyway. So I was thinking maybe with that Facebook account being down, open up the Dario again and find that found footage group because I'm noticing other things are happening now. And I'm like, I tried to find that group on my other account, but it didn't seem like it was the right one. And when I kept doing a search for found footage, I couldn't find it. So it was weird. So I got to go back to my old account, but I just may do it. Just go on for 48 hours again and just to, access a few things. Go to the Fish page because Fish is touring again. They just announced
Uh-oh.
summer tour. So there's news happening and whatnot. and go to the found footage thing just for that, and then get some notes and get out.
Well, because that movie that you raved about last year, that
Yeah,
wasn't anywhere to be found because the filmmaker sent it to you directly. Life of Bell, was that what did I tell you about?
Life
Yeah.
of Bell.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I saw that it was out and you're like, yep,
on Tubi.
yeah, awesome.
Speaking of Tubi, and I found it by accident. I went on Tubi to watch probably a slasher or something, and I saw Life of Bell. I go, look at this, good. And I looked into it. I'm like, please say this was this year, not last year, because it's going to be list worthy somewhere for me. So I was like, okay, and there it was. It came out in February, so I was like, wonderful, this works. I'm actually going to talk about it when I record on Jay of the Dead's, because the show is called Jay of the Dead's New Horror Movies, but so many new horror movies come out that I'm not interested in. Like they keep
Yeah.
going to see. They saw the one about the shark recently, or in the deep, whatever that. Not in the deep. I don't know. Something just came out. There's been like 3 or 4 horror
Bathtub
movies that have
Shark
come
is
out.
back.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta watch it still. I gotta. Damn it! I was gonna watch it before this.
Yeah.
Shit. Next show for sure. I haven't watched.
Oh no,
Okay.
that's your review. You just did.
Shit.
Yeah. And how was
I got
Curly's
my hopes
performance?
high. I got my hopes high.
Curly, I
Bathtub
hope
Shark
you know
Attack.
I'm joking too. She dishes it
Yeah,
out, so
shit.
I mean she can take it too. But
She's chill, man.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But
it's all
no,
good.
I do want to see it for her, but I know I'm not
Yeah.
gonna probably like it other than her.
Well, of course not. But I have a feeling maybe it's going to be so bad it's good. Just
Well,
because of the way the shark looks. It looks like a fist. It's like a puppet.
yeah,
You know what
I
I
know.
mean? So that's going to be at least some humor. And how
Yeah.
does it wear thin really quick? I don't know, but it might be fun to laugh at bad acting. I'm not saying Carly, but I'm just saying who's in the movie. I don't know. I've never even seen Carly act. What do I know?
What depends.
Or
I
any of
mean,
them.
well, the one you didn't like that guy Matt Frame sent us years ago, the one when you were on such a good run, and I made you watch it was Camp uh Death Day 3 or in 2D or something like that.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that one
It
was
wasn't
over the
horrible.
top, but it had great moments. But I remember you were mad because you're on a you I think you were at an average of like 7 out of 10, and this is what the first movie
Oh, at
that I think
least.
was like a 6 or something. And you're pissed off.
Right. I remember that year. Yeah, it was solid. Yes.
Uh, awesome.
Yeah, man.
Am I off
Yeah,
the
yeah,
charts
that's
here?
funny. Yeah, you're off the charts, all right.
Well, no, I mean, am I too loud?
No, you're fine.
I'm always off
Sound
the
fine to
charts.
me. We'll
Yeah.
see when someone plays it back. I don't know. You sound fine to me.
I
But the Jay the Dead's thing is this: there's always new movies coming up, and I keep having to tell them, "Hey, there's a new movie out this weekend. We're gonna record on it Sunday or whatever." And I'm always like, I just can't bring myself to watch that movie. I'm sorry. Like all the because they want to see new movies. I haven't seen anything worthy yet. So, but I know Life of Bell because I've already seen it. So I'm like, guess what? Life of Bell is out. Can we talk about it? I can finally talk about a new movie. There's that one, and there's another one on Netflix that just came out, and I want to say it's Indonesian, and nobody's talking about it. And so again, I
What?
haven't watched any 2024s yet because I've been so
I
deep into
have.
slashers. That's good.
I
So at
have,
least you're
but there
doing
hasn't been
something.
there haven't been really any that were noteworthy. I actually just watched one
Yeah.
right before we recorded. It was just finishing. Like, to be totally honest, I probably got 5 minutes left on it. I was like, damn it, I'm not gonna get this done before we have to record.
You could have
But
waited. I would have
oh,
waited
it's
5
fine.
minutes.
I'll watch it
Shit.
after we're done. But yeah, I watched 10 since last time, and only one. Well, Taxi Driver. I watched Taxi Driver again, so not
Mm,
really a horror film,
no,
but
but
yeah, that's now going to be. It's weird because it's now suddenly an annual watch, 2 years in a row.
Taxi,
It's now
you
an annual
know,
watch.
nice. I've only saw it one time, and it was a couple years ago. So I will watch it again. There's no question.
I enjoyed it
I'm so into
so
this.
much last year. I enjoyed it so much that I had to watch. Like I can't. I like. There's certain movies now that are like my January, February movies. It seems, and
Nice.
that's going to be one of them now. Just I like it, but I'm just watching slashers. But there's what happens, and this is what's going to happen when we talk about them. They all fucking blend together because these are not the high caliber slashers, and even high caliber slashers, it's a formula. So typically, unless it's fresh in your mind or you've seen it 1,000 times, they could blend together. And all of these are going to start to blend together, especially since, you know, a couple of these are just one and twos, part one and part two.
Right.
They never went beyond that, but they managed
Mm-hmm.
to cough out a part two, which in both
Right.
cases were better than part one
Well,
in
there you
both
go.
cases this time. So
They learned
we'll get
lessons,
it
huh?
later, but it's weird. Like I'm enjoying it, but I'm hoping I don't. I feel like I'm gonna burn out, like I have a Brandon burnout of slasher, so I might have to,
Yeah, rinse it.
yeah,
You gotta freaking
take a bit
mix
of a
it up.
break.
I get that. I'm in the zone right now, so I'm really good about it. I'm having fun. I just keep saying it's a slasher a day, and I'm having fun doing it. But here's what's gonna happen.
Keeps the doctor
Because
away.
like I'm adding more still, dude. So like for example, the list that I started, by the way, I watched Taxi Driver January 31st, 2021. So it's
Yeah,
freaking been 3 years now. It's crazy. I
yeah.
said a year or whatever, but it's been 3 years. I gave it 4.5, so a 9 out of 10, I suppose. Um, so what was I just saying? Oh yes,
Oh,
the
you're
list, the
talking about this
slasher
the list
list.
of your slashers. Yes,
Okay, so I keep adding to it, and I'll tell you what, like
same.
right now, it's at, let's see, 170. Okay. Now it's at 170. Right now I'm on the website retroslashers.net, and I'm just going on there just to see if there's anything I don't know about, or I'm trying to do more homework and whatnot. But I've gone on letterbox lists, I've gone on this list, I've gone on, just searching in Google and coming up with a list and looking for
Yeah.
hidden gems and everything else, and year by year, and I'm doing everything I could and trying to be able anything we can get our hands on. So of course, you're going to have 25% of it is not going to actually be slashers. They're just not. I mean, not by anyone's definition. I just can't see, you know, like the first Boogeyman. I don't know. Is it a
Yeah.
slasher? I got to go back because I enjoyed it. So I got to
Yeah,
go back, but I've only seen it the one time. So that's maybe
I
not a good
know.
example.
That's one of those fringe ones where I think it could fit in a couple of subgenres. But
Mm.
yeah, there's a few that keep getting listed. I'm like, oh, wouldn't consider that a slasher.
And
But
what? No, nobody's perfect. Nobody. I mean, people like it's what we said before. Without being those type
yeah,
of people without being gatekeepers. It just seems like a lot of people just like to wedge a lot of things into the slasher subcategory, and so be it. But I look at it. I don't think Bad Dreams is actually a slasher. I told you that after I watched it.
yeah,
I go, it doesn't seem because, and I gave my reason. But like you got Bird with the Crystal Plumage. Come on, that's a Jalo. We know this.
yeah.
But you'll see these on lists. So you have to be
Well,
able to
yeah, and I'm
go
having
around it. Evil
I'll have bad
Speak.
dreams on mine. Evil Speaks another one that always
It's
gets
not a
stuck into that.
slasher.
I don't remember being a slasher at all. Well, Chopping Mall, that one I can see arguing that it's a slasher.
Robots doing the slashing,
I
then if
know.
that's the case, then you could say that about anything. With any thing that isn't a human, then why would an
Yeah.
alien be a slasher? By the
Well, some
same
people do.
respect.
It's, you know, people getting
Well,
offed
somebody
one by
getting
one.
killed.
Yeah.
Well, what happens in freaking Dracula? I don't know. You can't have everything in there just because people are
I know,
being
man.
offed.
This is like I said, it can make your head spin. I never considered Chopping Mall a slasher either because it was just a bunch
Right.
of
Sounds
robots
like a
that ran
slasher.
amok that,
Right.
well, they're called killbots. Even that's but they're just
Yeah.
robots that run amok and happen to have gory kills. But again, like, I never really thought of it as a slasher. Would I be mad if someone's like my number 50s killbots or Chopping Mall? No,
Okay,
but
so be it.
I'm not gonna have it on mine.
No, I mean that's like saying because it's kind of it feels like a slasher. It's marketed like a slasher, and it has that feel. Kids trapped in a place that they can't get out of, and they don't have no
Yeah.
help from the outside, and they're getting
You're not
bumped
helping my
off.
argument. Yeah.
But
That
anything that has that doesn't automatically equate to slasher. There's been what do you call Evil Dead? That's not a
yeah.
slasher. You got kids in a freaking remote cabin getting bumped off. So be
Yeah.
it. They're getting possessed and killed. But I mean, look at Return to the Living Dead. It's the same thing. Well, because they're zombies, it can't be a slasher. What? Because they don't use weapons. It's not a slasher. So what if zombies came out of the freaking out of the ground and they grab weapons and attack people? Would they become a slasher movie? You tell me. I don't know.
Well,
It doesn't make sense to me. It's a zombie flick. It's like a killer doll flick. This is just me. That's why I don't consider Chucky a slasher. I consider a killer doll movie. It's its own subgenre.
Yeah,
And
I
people
mean,
say,
I
well, why
was
can't you blend? You
even
know,
I mean, well, it doesn't matter because it wouldn't fit our criteria anyway, so it's an easy out. That's why I
true in this
like the fact
case.
that these franchise ones help our cause a
Yeah.
little bit by just chopping them right the fuck out. We were
You
talking
got to
about
trim the
Silent Night.
fat.
We were talking about Silent Night, Deadly Night, but to be honest, even though there's a couple that are not part of it, it's still one, two, three, and the remake are slashers.
Well, yeah.
So
Yeah. It doesn't matter if there's, it doesn't matter. What if Exorcist 4 was a slasher? Let's say they had an Exorcist 4, just call that, and it
well,
was a
that's
slasher,
why
like
I want
Prom
to
Night
ask you,
4.
what about the, I'll give you an example. What about the horror show? Can it be considered a slasher?
I
Or
gotta
is it
watch it
house,
again.
but is it house three, part of house one, two, three, and four? Because it is house three from the whether we want it to be or not, it's house three, and even has packaging as such if you
Yeah,
get like the American or the European one.
but that came after. It was marketed as the horror show. I have the Fangorias to prove it.
Yeah.
I remember seeing at the time there's a new movie coming out called The Horror Show. There was never mention whatsoever about this being connected to the House franchise, and why the hell would it?
I
What does
do
that have to do
remember.
with
I
House?
think I do. I don't know. I totally agree with you, but I
Maybe
feel
I'm
like I
wrong.
remember there being a mention of it. But it started as like House Three, and then became its own thing. But then because of that, they marketed or it was still titled as such internationally. But for our show,
Hmm.
I mean, I don't know. I really liked the horror show back in the day, but
I haven't seen it
I have
since,
to
but
rewatch my I'd have to rewatch it. So I don't even know if it would make my list, but would that be considered disqualified because of that?
might be. I don't see. I might have to watch it too, but I'd say no. But we got to look more into it. But I'm telling you, I never heard of it being called House 3 until the advent of the internet age. I never heard that. It was the horror show. It came out in the
Uh,
80s at a theater. It came and it went and nobody talked about it. The only thing I remembered about it is that there was two killers in the same year that freaking got a chair. And it was Shocker and it was the horror show. And they
well,
came
there's a
out
few of them
within,
because then we had the first Power that we
oh,
was
which I
brought up on a
forgot.
show. There's also Destroyer, the one with that the other guy. He has like that
Kiss.
big jackhammer. He's like all like, yeah, Kiss Destroyer. He's like all, it's on the cover, and he had this big jackhammer. It's a horrible cover. He's like a
Okay.
muscle bound man, and he's holding that thing. Uh, I think that's considered a slasher too, and it's all in that same sort of subgenre that
Okay
came out
then.
like from Beyond the Grave.
So now literally I'm gonna have to add them live on the show. So you're telling me what's that movie called?
Destroyer, and then the horror
Destroyer?
show. Now, the
Okay,
first
so I'm gonna
Power I
put that in.
watched, and it was I watched that last year because Ram Man mentioned it. We were talking about it. It came up, and he said it. And I did watch it again, and I can't say it's a slasher or anything. Again, there's a killer, but it's a police movie about him going out and his body jumping sort of killer. Just because I think
It's
we did Shocker, it popped up in conversation.
wow. Wow. It's freaking Lyle Alzado playing the guy, and it's directed by Anthony Perkins. Wow.
Destroyer,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that's weird.
I forgot it was
So
Anthony. That was the other connection was Anthony Perkins. Because that's around that time when
yeah.
that came out. Edge of Sanity. There's another one that I'm forgetting. Um, and then
Yep,
Anthony
Edge of
Perkins, I think,
Sanity.
passed away a few
So
years later.
you say Destroyer's not a slasher. That's what you're
No,
saying?
I have to rewatch Destroyer. That one is usually
Okay.
put in the slasher realm, whereas the first Power, I would say, like I think we talked about it on the show, but it's not a
Yeah, but I
slasher,
don't remember.
not a
It's
slasher
not.
movie.
Okay.
It's a body hopping killer movie, but it's not a slasher.
Okay. I mean, I hate to sound silly here, but I look at the reviews on IMDb and on Letterboxd, and if I see people calling something a slasher like more than once here and there, I'm like, okay, I'll put it on the list. But if nobody calls it a slasher, or if everybody calls something a thriller, or everybody calls something a giallo, I'm not going to be the guy to ruffle it. I'm like, okay, right on, man.
Alice, Sweet
Why?
Alice. Is that a slasher?
I have to watch it again, man.
Well, because I had this book, I
It's
brought it up on the show before. This movie is kind of like this book is kind of like exactly what we're talking about. It wedges so many things into the book to call it a slasher movie. So Communion or Alice, Sweet Alice is in this.
uh-huh.
I think the Evil Dead's in it. Like
Wow.
I'm
See, there you
House
go.
Hills Have Eyes, House by the Edge of the Park, which
See,
possibly could be, but Hills Have Eyes we've already thought said is a subgenre, kind of like the same one that Texas Chainsaw Massacre would be in. Uh, and the Funhouse, that one I could see a little bit more so.
well, of course, the
Um,
Funhouse is a slasher. That's
Flesh for
fair.
Frankenstein,
Never saw it.
Eyes Without a Face, Evil Speak
Eyes
is
without a
here.
face. I still never saw that movie. You know that? I know it's like
The
a
Ebola
sheen.
Syndrome, is that a slasher?
I don't think so. I saw it once and I don't even remember.
Dracula, 58,
Come on.
the Hammer
No.
movies.
See what
Oh,
I mean? They're not slashers. See what I mean? Even in the guy writing a book about them. How can you write a book about slashers, right? Assuming that you're knowledgeable enough and that you have the right to do it, I guess, is for lack of a better word, and then not even have real slashers in there.
you know what
I
they're
don't get
talking
that.
about? They're almost talking like splatter movies or gore films, like Dead Snow's in here. Come on, because
Right,
there's
dude. See?
multiple people that die that it's gory. It puts in the slasher genre. Slasher genre was typically blunt instrument, multiple deaths, typically by an unseen assailant. And I'm sure that there could be like variations of this, like
Right,
multiple, or maybe we see them and maybe it's from their point of view, like Maniac or whatever. But
right.
it still follows that sort of thing. This is a zombie movie that like I don't get it. Um, but he does put Jalo in here, but I mean, that is a little bit more understandable.
Right.
That I can
Okay.
understand. Cannibal Holocaust and Cannibal Ferox are in this. Come on,
Yeah.
in the slasher book.
Get
Just say
out
you
of
don't
here.
call it
See,
slasher
dude?
then. Call it a horror movie
Stop it.
review book. I
How
don't
do
like.
they get the right to have Jason on the cover of their magazine and they got Cannibal Holocaust inside as a slasher?
You,
Something is fishy in Denmark. Uh,
yeah,
we should be writing a slasher book if
the
that's the
witch,
case.
the witch who come from the sea. I think it was who came from the sea, but who come
The
from the
Witch Who
sea
Came from the Sea. I know
is
that
in this
movie. Yeah.
slasher. Look, in this,
No,
according to
dude.
this, no, it's not.
You and I should just write a slasher book. And if anybody wants to question the credentials, we could say, hey, episode 50, this episode, we've watched them all. We look at all the movies we reviewed on this podcast. We've been
Zombie
fair
flesh
about it.
eaters.
We'll discuss it.
Zombie. So that's what I'm saying. Gore movies.
Dude, right,
It's a
get out
gore
of here.
movies. Yeah.
We're gonna have our own slasher book. If they can do it, why can't we?
Well,
Well,
yeah.
seriously,
Why
how hard
can't
can
we?
it
Well,
be?
well, you know the guy
Why
that
don't
did
we do it?
Sackhead, the guy that wrote Sackhead has his part 3 book coming out now.
I
Like
heard
books.
about this.
So like it's a great idea, man. Like again, if he because that Sackhead book was a quick, easy read. And so if you
Hmm.
could keep that format and do it, because I told you I like the way that he structured it. He kind of told the story from different point of views, then went into
Right.
the character and then talked about their like interview and whatever. It was actually a unique way to do it, since how do you do it when there's already Crystal Lake Memories, the definitive book, if you will, and then there's
Well,
the Dave Grove ones or whatever that are also quite good. Like, how do you continue to do a book? Well, he managed to find a fresh way to do it. Sackhead was good, and part 3 I'm looking forward to, and I'm hoping he continues to go through the sequels.
I dig it absolutely. It's well, that's the formula right there for success is to find something that's already been done, and you can't outdo what someone's already done doing their method. You have to have a different approach. You know what I mean? And that's what you have
Yeah.
to do.
Well,
Something
I'm gonna
different
burn this
that's
book in
good.
a second. I'm getting
Burn
mad.
it. Because it's
Rabid
a
Grannies
reanimator.
and Reanimator.
Get out of
Like
here.
slasher,
See?
slasher movies.
Well, why
Call
not
it
just call it
splatter
horror?
movies. Splatter movies, yes, you're in. You for
Okay.
sure.
Splatter. Fine.
Splatter. Splatter
Which
movie.
anything could fit under
Not
there. Anything with blood
slasher.
splatters. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Big difference. See?
I mean,
We got to put a book out.
he
Simple
says
as that.
the something is the A to Z guide to more than 60 years of blood and guts, but it's still not a slasher movie.
Right.
Slasher movies, you got to strip it back a bit. And I would be forgiven if you put Child's Play series in there and Texas Chainsaw Massacre to a degree. I'm okay with that. But like the zombie ones and everything else that I mentioned already, are you fucking crazy?
Dude, come on. It's no,
You
you
could
can't
put
do it.
Alien, you could put Predator, you could put Terminator and explain why you're putting those because ultimately it's taking that framework of the slasher and making it in like an action film or a sci-fi film, but it's borrowing heavily from the
Mm.
slasher subgenre. But that's how you would lead into those movies. That chapter could be dedicated to these offshoot
Yes.
ones that everybody talks about.
A
But
different,
you
yeah,
know,
a different chapter, and then you have another chapter for proto slashers, which I
exactly.
believe that's what Alice, Sweet Alice. I think we considered it a proto slasher when we discussed it in the past, but I don't know. Maybe I gotta watch
Yeah.
it again. It's been a minute, so I don't know. But see, I might start writing this book tonight. I'm not kidding. But see, but our book would be alphabetical. Or no, 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 not alphabetical. Everyone does that. Our book would be
Numerical.
by year,
Yeah.
year of release.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Because it actually documents it better, the rise and fall. Although it's not really fallen, it went down. Now nobody talks about the 2010 era. Boom. That's a thing. Nobody talks about 2010 plus era slashers. They just do not. And when they
The
talk about
modern,
2000s,
here's the title, The Modern Slasher Movie, as discussed on Exploding Heads Horror Movie Podcast.
traditional slashers and modern slashers.
Forward by Brandon Orlick.
Forward. Who could we get to forward at that? That
Yeah,
matters. You know?
that matters.
Not that Brandon doesn't matter, but you know what I mean.
But he's
Matters in a book. Let's get moods. No, no.
yeah,
I don't mean that. I
Moods
mean,
play Brandon again. Moods is gonna
yep,
be
that's why I said
yeah.
that. Moods plays
That's all.
Brandon. No, we'll get another. We should find somebody. I'm sure we know somebody. Oh, I'll get Linnea Quigley to freaking write it if I want. We'll talk to her.
By the
Who knows?
yeah, by the star of Bathtub Shark Attack.
Ah,
Carly.
we could do that too. Oh my gosh.
Forward
Oh, that's
by
funny.
Carly.
So where was I here? This is
Oh,
what I'm doing. I
yeah.
keep adding to the list. This is good though. I keep adding to this list. So right now, like Destroyer, we don't know. I don't think it is, so I'm not gonna bother. And I forgot the other one you
Destroyer.
said.
Oh,
Licky boom boom down. So anyway, um,
well, I went on Tubi, and Tubi, the
shag it.
funny part of Tubi is you'll go to the comedy section, and there's like more horror films than comedy movies in their comedy section.
Wow.
I
Especially
Someone needs
now.
to clean up Tubi. If they change their god logo, they've got time to fucking make their sections proper. Like
Maybe
their
I'll write
horror,
them.
it's great, man. They did slasher, and there's all these good slashers. Again, I would even question half the ones that were in that one because it was pretty standard stuff. You
Hmm.
know, one or two that might be like, well, what? Oh, come on, tubes.
Right.
But
Well, you're
other
always
than
gonna
that,
see that.
yeah,
Tubes. Come
well,
on, tubes.
yeah, come on, tubes. But other than that, like I gotta hand it to Tubi. It's the best. I've mentioned on the show before. We've talked about it for years. I think we
Word.
would always we were talking about. I'm not saying we were the first to talk about Tubi because that would be bullshit, like bullshit. But I
Right.
just say we always were championing Tubi
Yeah,
because it
sure.
was like it's the closest thing to going to an old school video store and going through the and it has a lot of those movies that were on there. But then of course, because there's this whole underground, low budget, no budget market now, they've got all of
Hmm.
those ones as well. Between Tubi and Prime, that's where you're gonna get like the old school video store feeling without actually going into it, obviously. I
True.
mean, as a digital version of it.
No, you're right.
Because
That's it.
Netflix has some titles that you're like, wow, that was on Netflix. Like it still surprises me
Yeah,
every now and then,
randomly. Yeah.
but not. It doesn't have like the deep cuts that like Tubi and sometimes Prime. Once you go beyond Prime's like what it presents to you, and you dig down a little bit more, shockingly, there's a ton of movies that you'll be shocked are on that platform.
You're right, man. No, they definitely are. Yeah, Netflix, no. Hulu, no. The other ones, it just, you know, there are Paramount and freaking Peacock and all that stuff. They have some, but it's like,
even Shudder. I mean, Shudder, of course, is dedicated to it,
well,
but it's shocking now how much you could just get and not having to worry about of subscribing and get it between Prime and all the other ones, or subscribe to
right.
AMC and you get most of the Shudder ones as well. So I didn't know,
Hmm.
realize my wife, and you can download them, or you can't download them on Shudder. So my wife had subscribed to AMC for something, I guess a show that she wanted to watch, and that's how I got Night of the Hunted, which is really funny because I watched it on the plane. The second I landed and we were able to get, service again on my phone, I went on my phone, and the first thing that pops up is someone talking about how they just watched Night of the Hunted and couldn't believe how people were tooting it's being so great and whatever. And Billy D, uh,
Uh-huh.
Horror Babies podcast, and who
Yeah.
frequently comments
Halloween
here,
babies.
he mentioned, is it Halloween? Because I think it's Horror Babies podcast.
No, it's not. It's Halloween babies. Horror babies.
I fucked that title up. It's on my
Horror
fucking phone.
babies. That should
Yeah,
be a cartoon. Horror babies, and they have like a baby Jason,
we
like
we did
Muppet
that the
babies, a
last
baby
time.
Freddy. Oh,
That's
did
when I
we?
messed it up. That's when I messed it up the last time. And then Brandon, I said Horror Babies. Uh, where am I here? Where's my library? Not songs. Oh, I'm in music, not podcasts.
This
But
guy.
anyway, he commented on it too because they were talking about how it was a little heavy-handed with the God is nowhere, God is now here, and this, that, and the other thing. And I agree with that. It is Halloween babies. You are correct, sir. Because I do have it, but I fucking keep calling it Horror Babies Podcast.
Amazing. We should start our own horror babies. A
Just like
sidecast.
Sorority House Massacre Podcast.
That's true, right? Sorority.
Just
house
ripped off of
massacre.
all the ones that are, yeah, I love that.
We'll get 6 girls on ours, right?
Yeah, that was the gimmick. Six
That would be
girls.
awesome. We could do it. We can get our daughters to start and maybe our wives. Who knows? That'd be funny. That'd be some shit. That'd be a good show. Put a horror movie on, right, for our wives and daughters that they've never seen and then see their takeaways. I think that would be awesome.
And call it
Seriously. I think,
Sorority House Massacre, the
yes.
first all-female 6-person podcast.
Yes. And what about horror babies? What could that be? Anytime a baby's killed in a horror movie?
That'll be our we'll do a solo cast because he does that solo. So we have to take turns and talk about movies.
I'll talk about a dead baby every show. How many movies are a dead baby in horror?
Dead baby movies.
Horror babies and pets. It'll be every time a movie kills an animal or a baby, we're going to discuss it on this show so you can avoid it. That's what we're going to say, but we're going to really have fun with it.
It will be called Trigger Warning.
Right. Trigger warning. That's the last thing I want to avoid is freaking pets and babies getting killed. That's like top of my list.
I know that is a recommendation to you.
Most of the time, not always. Sometimes the animals die and I'm sad about it. It just depends on circumstance, like with a lot of things. Babies, they can kill them all. They can. I've never watched a baby kill in a movie and then like felt bad about it, but I have for animals. So there you go.
I've never felt bad when a baby was killed.
I can't think of it. Can you think of a baby getting killed in a horror movie and you felt bad about it? Like you remembered? Hey, oh, whoa. Stop. Okay.
Collaborate and listen.
Something happened. Something did happen with a pregnant woman in a movie I saw not too long ago. And that was disturbing. So I'll leave it at that.
What, the one in Human Centipede 2? Or does that make you laugh? Because I hated that.
No, that just fit in with it. So I was kind of cool. I was kind of riding.
There's that one that I saw in Hoopla that which again, that one has some deep cuts as well. That you're like, I can't find these movies anywhere else, and they're there.
Yeah, we should tell the people.
And that was called Party Bus. And I talked about it on the show, and it was not a great movie by any means. But it had that one kill that I told you, like it was a pregnant woman and he sliced open her stomach and took the baby out. I was like, what the fuck?
Oh, that's right. I wanted to see it just for that.
And now back into slasher movies.
Yeah, I'm
There,
sorry.
yeah,
All
there
right,
you
let me
go.
try. I gotta try to come down. I gotta fucking come down from my elevation
I
now.
don't want to
But it's
come
like,
back down from this cloud. I don't think
oh,
you're on a cloud
mamma
right now.
mia.
That's the problem.
I don't know where the fuck I am. I don't even know what we were doing. We had a good thing going. We were talking about something good. I have no idea where we were. And I
It's
don't know.
fine, man. It's fine. We were spitballing about all these different things. The thing is, we're not going to be gatekeepers of slashers, but there's a shit ton of movies that we've just said just seem to get pushed and grouped in with them. This book, like we talked about, entitled "Slasher Movies," has Reanimator in it.
Unbelievable. We got to write a better one.
It
Simple as
makes me
that.
furious. Like, how was a horror fan? That one doesn't even deserve a chapter in the book, whereas the other ones that we were talking about deserve the chapter. Like, you can argue the chapter for Predator. You can argue the chapter like with that same chapter, Terminator and Alien, and films like that because they all sort of steal the bumped off one by one formula of like masked or you know, unstoppable killing machine. And so I can get that, but rabid grannies,
Right.
no,
No, that's crazy. Right. That's
fucking
crazy.
rabid fucking grannies. But I've been making it like a laundry list. And like I said, Tubi's a good place to go through them all for ones that maybe didn't watch way back when or forgot, or all the modern ones that we were talking about. Like that's the best place to go. But Night of the Hunted is the one I was talking about. And I said Billy D commented on it.
Right.
That's what I was talking about. And I enjoyed it. But yes, it's a little heavy-handed with the messaging. Some of the background ground stuff, I can get why it could be a little bit annoying. I didn't let it bother me that much, but
Hmm.
I don't wouldn't consider that a slasher movie. I didn't realize maybe because I didn't listen, I didn't notice it in the comments or whatever, that it was the director of the Maniac remake that directed that one. I didn't know that.
Maniac remake got
The
directed by
director,
who?
the same guy that
Directed
did
what?
Night of the Hunted, the one with the girl that goes into
Really?
the gas station and gets and the sniper guys like stalking her.
Wow. Okay. No, that's weird. That's
Yeah.
weird. Now I gotta address this. Now she parked. Now I get a thing saying the order's ready. So now I said, okay, I've parked, but I gotta put what spot they're in. Well, guess what? I don't know what spot they're in. Oh God. They just called me or whatever. They just let me know it's ready. Holy cow, this is crazy. What a world we gotta live in. Okay.
So she's
Anyway,
good. Or no.
no, she doesn't fuck. She has to tell me what spot she's in. How he, you know what I'm saying? All you gotta do is look at your text and get there and say I'm in this spot. Let's see how easy this task is for somebody that isn't me. Receiving a text and answering it and doing it. Let's see how long something like this takes. I'll come back, she says. Okay. So she's coming back after all. You see what thank you. Yeah, that's what my life is from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed. That is it is constant astonishment at the people I live with and the things they do. And I can't say anything because saying anything is just going to cause a problem. I
Oh
can
yeah,
bitch
you
on the
can't.
show, I suppose,
Yeah.
because it happened live on the show, but
Yeah,
usually I
yeah,
don't say nothing.
wait, when you go up
I just
and if you have
medicate
if
stronger.
you have to hand her the phone or do whatever, just be calm and don't even think it, because otherwise you're gonna explode.
No, I'm not going to say nothing. No. I've already let it go
Uh,
here in front of you and a little bit on the show. No. I've let it out. I'm not gonna. I'm cool as a cucumber again. I'm just glad that she's going to be situated because if she's not angry, then I don't have nothing to worry about.
well,
So there
that's
you go. I just
yeah,
don't.
that's the other thing, is you're like, that's what you're getting at, is she
Right.
gonna be angry now, and do I have to deal with that?
That's
That's
exactly what it.
that's what marriage is.
That. Thank you. That's yes. That's what it comes down to. Because then,
Yeah.
and on top of that, you got to deal with constant absurdity going around you. But if you comment on it, then they get mad at you. So you can't. So you got to keep it inside. That's all you can do. I don't know. You got to find a way to deal. Me, I'm a junkie. I'm a pill popper. I'm a freaking drug addict. If I have to be around my family, I take drugs all the time. That's the only way I can get by each day. So there you go. That's what it takes. The only way I'd ever have any chance at ever being sober again is if I were single. Because I'd have a nice quiet. There's nothing to be angry about. Except maybe how am I going to get laid next? But I mean, that's not hard these days with all the apps and stuff. God,
Yeah.
what a world. Ah, man, it'd be
And,
so easy,
and,
wouldn't
and
it?
good old fashioned prostitutes. Anyway, did you saw Night of
Wow.
the Hunted last year, right? I didn't see it last year.
I
I
don't
didn't watch
remember
it.
Night of the Hunted. I don't remember. Let me look it up and see. Night of the
Girl
Hunted.
wakes up at a hotel with her coworker and they've been sleeping together. She gets a call from her husband and whatever. You figure that out. So we set her up. She's being unfaithful. They drive to a gas station to get gas and she goes in and a bullet like shoots her and then she's stuck. And then she finds out that the person and the gas station is dead. And then some guy comes to visit, and they're on constant gunfire from the sniper. Her lover eventually comes in to the gas station and gets shot. And it's pretty much like instead of it being a point of view from the serial killer, like Maniac is, this is like for the most part one location film, which I
I
always
did
like.
not
I
see
always
it.
like when they keep you interested by staying in one location. If you could do that, then there's something positive about the film.
I know you
Something.
need the phone. That's common sense.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
But so that's where the movie sort of excels. They did a good job at keeping the interest level up, considering you're following a girl that's essentially hiding in a gas station behind bags of chips and stuff on the shelf, and how she has to try to cat and mouse it out of the way out. However, there's heavy-handed shit that doesn't land well at all. Seems actually to be contradicting itself. But I didn't let that bother me too much. I'd recommend it only because of the fact of I've been successful from the scenario of being a location or contained horror, if you will, in a sense.
I'd like to see it. I didn't see it last year. I just looked at it now and I've never
I think
watched
you'd
it
like it.
before.
I think you'd like it. I think you'd
Yeah.
agree with the heavy-handedness part, but maybe you wouldn't. Maybe you'd be like, it didn't bother me. Like I didn't let it bother me that much. I admit that I was like, could have done without that. Like, no, but oh well.
Sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't, I've noticed. It's so weird. Like some people are very critical over some movies and I look and I go, gee, I didn't think that was that heavy handed at all. And then I see other ones and I pick up on things that nobody else picked up on. Like another movie that I said I thought was actually kind of prejudiced, and I'd never heard one person say it about that but me. So I kept it to myself. But I'm like, I'm sorry, man. I know what I see. I see this, and it's the thing. But so it goes both ways. All I can do is watch something and see what I see and make my statements. But
Yeah.
who knows? Who
Well, that
knows? It's
that one is on. No, that was the AMC one because I think it's on Shutter. But because I don't,
mm,
I haven't subscribed to Shutter for a while now. I got it through AMC, so AMC had most of the ones that I wanted anyway, and gives you the benefit of being able to download them to your tablet, whereas Shutter does not. If Tubi allowed you to download them to
right.
your tablet, even with commercials, I would do it in a second. Like that's the one thing
Yeah.
Tubi's missing
Is what is
is
downloading?
downloading. Yeah.
And I don't have my phone. I was going to tell you about a bunch of other free apps that are like Tubi. Maybe if I get the phone back and then before the
There's
show ends, I
Free
could.
Rise. Free Rise, I think, is one of them.
I
That
had
one,
some other ones I signed up for and they
yeah.
work.
Pluto is not there. For
It's not
Film
those
Rise
though.
was kind of like Tubi, but just not as
hmm
vast. And then Plex we talked about, but you had a bad experience on Plex. I think
Oh,
with how the
dude, the
commercials went.
commercials, you have no idea. It takes an hour and 15 minutes, takes 2 hour movie. It takes 2 hours to watch. It's more commercials than you get on television, which is
Yeah,
absurd. It's
yeah,
terrible. Absolutely terrible. Never watch a free movie on Plex. You're better off spending the freaking $3 and renting it or something if you can. Oh, forget
well,
that. No, that's crazy. But Tubi, and I keep saying this since they've been around, they are really missing out on a marketing on a smart marketing thing and to get subscriptions and to make money. The title alone. I can't believe all this time nobody, because I've been saying it since the beginning. There has got to be a separate app called To Be Continued. No question. And it's got to
Yeah.
be To Be Continued. It's paid for with no commercials. Real cheap, like $3 a month. And this is called To Be Continued. How great! It's a great title. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? How
It
does
is. I mean,
somebody not make one? To Be Continued. It's the first thing just the first time I saw it.
yeah,
That's what I
that's
thought
a
of.
good,
I'm like,
that's a good name and a good idea.
yeah. How do they not? How have they not done it by now?
They'll,
Now they're going to do it. This
well,
always happens to me.
they'll always do it because like now you've got this. I mean, in the sense of like, why wouldn't they have a subscription model? You're already loaded up. I'm already registered for them.
Right.
I don't mind being free, and they have it free. Once
Nope.
you get ads, the ads are fun. Ads are getting better. They used to be really shitty ads, or it used to be one ad that they would repeat every. You just be like, enough. Now I'm
Yeah,
finding that there's
man.
a little bit more. It's almost like regular commercials now. Now I don't watch a lot of commercials because I don't really watch regular TV other than
Right.
basketball. Basketball is probably the only thing I watch.
Like me with football. Right.
Basketball and like breakfast television in the morning, occasionally, like, little news thing with the ticker tape that goes
Right.
underneath that
Like
gives you
local
like
news.
one of those things. Yeah, like in the morning
Yeah.
sometimes, getting ready and eating breakfast or having coffee. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some commercials there. And then basketball, there's some commercials there. Otherwise, I don't really watch them. So like when I watch Tubi, I mean the commercials are not horrible anymore. I would rather
No,
not
they're
watch commercials.
short.
But I'm saying if they even
I
put a
don't.
$5 subscription model into place, like 4.99 or something like that, and you get subscription, free, and then whatever, have tiered, no commercials, commercials and downloads, whatever. Like you figure that they
Mm-hmm.
have the capacity to do that, but maybe they're making too much from the fact that they don't offer that. So the advertisers know you've got to watch their ads. I still don't understand how Watson's son has hooked it up. I don't think just putting a firewall up or whatever gets you around the commercials. But somehow he said that he
Somehow he
has,
does, but
yeah, he's
it's
not been
only
able
on the
to.
computer.
That's
Yeah,
it. Like
it's an ad
yeah,
blocker on the computer, and you watch it that way. Now I know that I can take my computer and I can Chromecast it right to the TV. So when that case doesn't work, I don't know. But because I don't even mind the Tubi commercials, because I don't want to add anything to this computer because it'll slow it down even more, I'm okay with the Tubi commercials because they're a minute long, they're short, and I get up, or I go to the bathroom quick, or I go and I grab a water, and if I don't get up to do something or anything. I just go on YouTube for freaking 90 seconds and I watch a video, and then when the thing starts, I pause it and I go back to it next commercial. That's what I do. I keep
well,
myself, unless I'm
I
wasted, then I'll just watch the commercial.
but I told you that on
I don't
one thing
care.
about my old computer, my old MacBook, was that I had this little app add-on for my browser, for Opera browser, that allowed me to fast speed through, so I could hit the D on my computer, and it would go up by 10% increments, or I could go down by 10% increments as well. Not that I ever slow a movie down by any means, but so I
Huh?
could watch it at
No.
like 110%.
There you go.
120%. So it was cool for that, for certain things or whatever. Or if I was going back to rewatch and I just wanted to, like, I'm like, oh, I think I missed something. I could go back and rewatch something quickly or whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
But I could actually speed it up to like 300% for the commercials, and it would work. Do you think I could get that same add-on on this computer? No, nowhere to be found.
Too
I'm like,
bad,
I
man.
can't fucking believe it. But anyway, that's just, again, first world problems for fucking
Right.
trying to
That's
jump through some commercials on a fucking app that's given us more horror films and stuff. That, again, there are some quality movies there, and then there's some absolute garbage, but like everywhere. And garbage is only eye of the
mm-hmm.
beholder, as we've said time and time again as well,
Right.
because Spookies is now available. And I was about to rewatch that before the show today just to give an updated review, but I will rewatch it because I said I was going to at
Me
some
too.
point.
I
So
should watch that thing. I keep
day
saying it,
one watch.
I'll
But
check it out. Spookies. But Tubi, yeah, they should do that. It's only I tell you, just $3. Put it on. Do it. People will subscribe. The thing is, because the other ones are going up so high and higher and higher and higher, and now they're cracking down on people like sharing accounts and everything else, which is weird because yesterday I watched a slasher on Netflix. It was either yesterday or the day before, and I on my brother's Netflix, and it wasn't on my Emmy, so I went to Netflix just to get it in the interim. I could have added it, but I was like, it's on Netflix. It was the one that you told me about. I'll get to it after, but
Oh,
I went to watch it.
there's someone in your house.
That
Yeah.
yes, and it was on there. So I watched it. I'm like, okay. Now today I'm playing my what do you call it? A randomizer, and a movie comes up, and it's a movie called Nobody Sleeps in the Woods Tonight. And
Yeah,
the thing is,
I have those downloaded to my iPad as well. One and two.
there you
There's
go.
two of them.
Well, yeah, I
I
just
watched
only
them.
part one came up because I
Yeah.
watched one. I just whatever random comes up is what I choose. So
Yeah.
part one just came up, and of course, if part two came up, I'd have to watch one first. But that's whatever.
I'm
So
pretty
it
sure
came
that's
on.
called Nobody Fucks in the Woods Tonight. I'm pretty sure it's called that, but
No, there's
because it
another
came,
movie. No. There
oh,
was
Don't
another
Fuck in the
movie
Woods. Yeah.
that came out a few years before called Don't F in the Woods, they call it now with the
Yeah.
asterisks. Whatever. No, it's
True.
not that, but Nobody Sleeps in the Wood Tonight. It was a foreign movie, I guess. And I
Polish, I
forgot where it's
believe.
from.
I
Maybe it's
thought it was
Polish.
Poland. We watched them because it came out like a few years ago, like four years
Yeah,
ago and
yeah.
3 years ago or something. And I watched
Pretty
them both
close. Even closer,
both
I
those years.
think.
And and I remember it being kind of like, I don't know, like Mutant Jason Brothers or something like that. That's what I
I didn't
remember.
watch it yet. I don't know.
So don't,
Well, because
that might be the
this is
wrong
what I was
movie.
getting to. I
Sorry,
went to
man.
Netflix today. No, it's cool. I
Yeah.
went to Netflix today to watch that one because it came up on random, and it said something about you're not in the house for sharing and blah blah blah. Basically saying, "Oh,
Oh,
you didn't know about this?" Well,
well, I
because they've
did
been
know.
talking about it for months. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it happened to me maybe like 6 months ago, and I go, "I guess that's it for Netflix. I can't leech off my brother anymore." But a couple days ago, when I watched that movie that you said, it worked without a problem. Like, oh, look at this, it works again. Now today, it didn't. Maybe every other time you go there, maybe you got to wait a few weeks. I don't
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the secret, is to download of your phone or whatever.
oh yeah, I mean, I don't have to. I just wanted to watch it then. Honestly, I'd rather have it go to MB because then I could 1.25 it. It's not every time. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But and did you see the video I put up in chat the other day with freaking 22 shots? I wanted everyone to watch the video and see what they thought about it. I was watching Blood
Huh.
Rage, and I was like, "Tell me
Oh
what you
yes.
think."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody,
I
nobody said that they could tell it was 1.25. That was my
oh,
test.
I know. I think Carly was saying, though, she knew it was. She didn't realize that that's what you were referring to.
Yeah.
Immediately,
True.
which I just watched. Well, I didn't just watch it. I watched it in Thanksgiving time. In fact, it was American Thanksgiving time. And it wasn't even Canadian Thanksgiving time when I watched it. Uh, and I didn't notice. So immediately, I didn't. When you
Okay.
put it on 1.25, I didn't notice it was on that,
That's the
because
idea.
because that because
See,
that movie is so weird with the dialogue and the way that they
I
speak,
suppose.
that I didn't notice it. Like,
Yeah.
you, it would be a blessing when the mom scenes are on. That is the weirdest part of that
Well,
movie, is that mom talking and acting as if she's in like the best dramatic role of her life. And I'm not faulting her for that because that's her job. But where I'm going with it is, but the point is, she's trying to connect with the guy that just left. That's the head of the complex that she's now dating, and sort of starts the whole murder spree because they announce that they're getting married or that they love each other, or whatever. And isn't she
correct.
just trying to get back with him and wondering where he went? And she's on the phone
Yes.
and like, where is he? Bitch, get up and walk 4 houses down in the
See,
complex to find him.
that's what I couldn't understand either,
Yeah.
unless it's a different complex. Maybe there's
No.
another one and it's quite a
Oh,
walk because we
it's
don't
not
know for
it's not
certain.
quite a walk because they're all around there doing their things and jumping. It's
Right,
like
but that
not
wouldn't make
that
any
bad.
sense.
Oh,
My guess is that the guy that runs it, maybe he has a couple places, and maybe he has another one that's set up the same way, and it's a long walk to get there. I don't know what you're
well,
right.
the
See,
guy,
that's the only
the son goes there and kills them in like within like
I
minutes.
know.
So like, I
True.
mean, it can't be that far. But you're
And that's the
that's
only
such
issue.
a weird. It's not the only issue, because we did this review years ago on the show.
Well, I
Because
changed since I just watched it. I'll tell you that.
for better
I'll
or
have
for
to get to
worse.
it when I get to it for better, for much
Oh,
better now.
oh, hey, this movie I used to laugh at, and I still do, but it's all in the right reasons. I find it's fun. And I didn't have this on my list way back when because I had it more of like a 6.5. No, this movie's gone like not way up, but up.
I'm up.
It will be on my list, no question. But I won't steal your thunder. But it's just interesting that we both have that problem. That is what she's doing. It's the
Yeah,
weirdest
it's
thing.
why?
Or the
Why would that
voiceover,
happen?
the voiceover where it just suddenly shifts to the doctor's point of view, and she does a voiceover thing, and it like, why is this voiceover?
Oh, in the beginning of the movie?
Oh,
Yeah, that was
it's so
interesting.
weird.
Yeah. Yeah. But see, and this is what I was thinking as I'm watching it. It's the same thing that
Sorry.
happened with like Sleepaway Camp. Like the first time I watched Sleepaway Camp, I was like, okay. But now I have it way up there, but it took time. I've noticed,
Well, same. Yeah.
okay, now that hasn't happened with this movie the same way because of anything silly. That's what happened with another movie that I'm going to talk about. But this movie here, I actually appreciated this time what was going on with the mother and why she would be that upset. And I was thinking about this. I'm like, yeah, number one, she just finds out that she goes to the for years she's thought that the one kid is troublesome and the other one is good. Then she goes there Thanksgiving morning and the kid tells her, he comes clean, he goes, I never killed anyone, it's my brother and he's free, whatever. So she gets that news, she doesn't know how to face it, or is he telling the truth, or she's bugging out. Then she gets back, then he escapes, then she finds out this happens, and then killings start happening, and this woman doesn't know who to believe, what's going on. I could see, and she's trying to hold it together. And then you see her, she slowly slips away from reality by the time the movie is over. Like something happens at one point. I wish I had actually I do have the notes. Hold on, because I have them on the computer. And hold on, where the hell am I? All my movies. I gotta look at everything I watch now. Um, so what she says something about you rat. One small thing happens,
Who's
right?
the rat?
Um, Probably me. Hold on, let me go to my other section here. See, this is the problem with not having my phone. So anyway, let's get on this. So even if I do the search, see, this is what happens. That's why that my having my phone is so important. But that's okay. So something happens. Like they make the dinner and then the news breaks, and you could tell also what makes the other kid flip out when he finds out that she's going to remarry.
Yeah.
And he plays it off like he's cool, but that's what triggers him to freaking go insane again. And so I'm watching this from a perspective of a psychological perspective where I'm like, okay, this led to this led to this, and this led to this. And for that reason, you rat, I'm finding myself appreciating it more. So hold on, let me see my notes. I know they're in there
This show
somewhere.
loves its animals, you skunk. Ah, you rat.
I know, right?
Well, and we did talk about it when we did review the show years ago. His performance is actually quite good because as weird and stilted as he is as the brother who's the killer, when he plays the
Mhm.
other brother, it's really well done. So overall, although like we're not talking about Jeremy Irons in Dead Ringers here, it works for the movie and it elevates it. Like this movie is a time capsule very similar to the Sleepaway Camp example, because I never put that up very high back in the day, like other people seemingly have, but I don't remember it being held in high regard back in the day. That seems to be a more
Right.
modern thing in the last 20
Correct.
years or whatever.
It
I,
takes
I
more
think
views.
the millennium or whatever. And Blood Rage was one of those forgotten ones that I think I remember saying
Yes.
that I remember seeing the opening scene on some sort of combo some collage video thing or something like that where they're showing clips almost like in Search of Darkness but before those ones existed. But
Terror in the Aisles.
I don't remember where, like something like something like that,
Video
but
violence. Yeah.
whatever, like what something
Yeah.
there. But because when I did see the opening scene, I'm like, oh, I've seen this movie before, but I actually hadn't. I just remember seeing that opening murder with the son, like the two brothers in the drive-in and whatever. But
Oh,
anyway, I was trying to kill some time as you found your notes, but I think his performance and the mom's performance are actually like good, although they borderline on
yeah.
cheesy in certain regards, but overall good for this type of movie.
That's what it is. You see it falling apart. Like she says some line about the turkey after her, and then she makes a comment. They're coming out of the kitchen, and she goes, "Oh well, the turkey was good," or she just said it to herself.
Yeah.
Something, and you can see one little thing that she says to herself. I'm like, that's odd, and then you can actually witness the breakdown. You can witness his breakdown, and you can witness her breakdown, and then, good God, the freaking ultimately we don't get slashers like this anymore. And, you know, they, but the problem is this, it's a task that shouldn't be that hard. Look at Blood Rage, look at what goes on in that movie, and tell me why we don't get slashers like this anymore. How hard is that to make?
Well,
Thank you.
I know. Now you got your phone back.
Seriously. Yep.
Oh my God. Guess what I found out that's on Tubi right now too? Because I went to try to get the logo. One of the
Was
ones
that a
that
pig?
that one that I saw that I said was one of my worst of last year, the one that wants to be
Uh-huh.
Terrifier called Diced.
Ah,
It's on,
is it a pig in the middle or no?
no, that's the
Does it have a
killer.
pig head on? Looks like a
No,
pig for
he
me.
looks like a
Okay.
scarecrow. So instead of being Art
Okay.
the Clown, he's this guy, the Scarecrow.
Art the
And
Scarecrow?
I'm going to tell you, this is the
Scare
one
the
that
Crow?
they ran out of money. You could tell they ran out of money. It's 59 minutes long. There's but watch it. There's some okay gore. It's not great. I mean, it's a hard recommend because it was on my bottom list. But it's like almost like you've got to look
Yeah.
at the production value. You can see that there's potential there, but it ends up being just a flop. But it's just
Yeah.
interesting to see like what would happen if okay, we ran out of money. Let's just finish the movie. Let's just put together what we got, assemble it accordingly. You can tell there's scenes missing. You can just tell. And like 59 minutes, obviously there were, and they went with what they had. But it's on Tubi. But I wanted to show you for the color of the app. What the fuck are we here? Trying to get out of it. I don't know if you can see it there, but it's
The background I
purple.
could see.
It's purple and
Oh, wait, let me
yellow
see that.
purple. But it's
Oh, yeah, it
good.
is purple now.
It's good
Yeah.
because it used to look like Netflix. I mean, I get it. It was a big N, but a big red N on a black background, and Tubi was the small T in red on
Right.
the black background. So if you're just looking at your apps and you don't have your glasses on or whatever, now at least it's yellow on purple. So for that factor, cool. But it's just such a weird change, like an unnecessary change for
It
the
always
logo. But
happens.
anyway,
It
sorry, I don't
always
know why I'm
happens
going
with these.
on and on about this logo, but I'm hung up
It
on it. God
happens.
damn it.
That's okay. So what I was trying to say earlier
And I kept
is that I have
interrupting.
100. No, not at all. Just we just kept getting sidetracked, or I kept interrupting my own thoughts. Who knows? But no, I have 170 on the watch list now for Year of the Two slasher. I'm gonna get up to 200 because the thing is this: there's more researching that I'm doing, and but in the same respect, let me tell you how many I've watched because I have been doing this. Okay, Year of the Slasher 2. Now I watched two more today. So this one's probably not going to be the exact numbers that it should be. Okay, that and that. Okay, 56, 57. So I have already watched 59. Okay. So I've watched 59, but check this out. Um, of the ones that I've rated 7 or higher, it's you're going to be surprised at how many. I've watched 59 of them, and at this point, 28. Um, I had 28 that were 7 or higher
Oh my
before
God.
today. Before did any of these today end up being a
So just
seven? I
over
didn't
half
look.
your list is
None.
already
So
there.
28. So 28 right now because the other ones today are not making. They're not 7 or higher. Even though I rated them 3.5 on Letterboxd because I always round up to 7. So if something is a 6.5 or the infamous 6.75, I bump it up to a 7 on Letterboxd. But officially, I have 28, right? And we only need 50. And I've only watched what I say, a quarter of what I'm going to watch. But here's what I'm thinking: I'm going to make it up to 200. But something happened today when I went on the randomizer. I had initially put like April Fool's Day, the remake, on this list. And then when it landed on there, I looked and it was all ones and halves. And I said, why am I going to watch this? I'm not going to watch this movie. I'd rather spend my time adding another
Smart.
movie that's like, a lesser known movie or a foreign slasher or a movie that may or may not be a slasher, but we got to watch to find out like the things we've been talking about.
A horror
Because
show.
watching, there you go, like the horror show, but
Or
watching
Destroyers, the one, yeah.
that would just be a waste of time. So I'm not gonna watch freaking April Fool and anything else lands. Or if I watched a slasher in
Dude,
the last like 4 or 5 months,
yeah.
I'm not gonna watch it again because it's something
Oh,
I've watched for a podcast or I've done something. So I just know what it is.
well, I
You
told you
know?
my list started back, so I'm at like 80 something, but I started back in, good.
Wow.
Thumbs up. I started back in the summer though. Remember, stated that I was starting back there, and I was pretty happy with that. So this is it. But I am watching some of those ship reader ones because they pop up on Tubi, and some of them are here because I went and I did Hayride 2. These are the ones I'll be talking about later, and
Damn.
Pitchfork.
Okay.
So I did Hayride 2, Pitchfork, Bloody, uh, oh my God, Camp Blood and Camp Blood 2.
Oh,
So
nice.
those are the ones. Those are the ones that we'll get into. I don't know why we're stopped. Like we could get into them now. Like
No,
there's not
now we
much.
can do it.
There's not really much to say. So my first one was that Night of the Hunted, and I enjoyed it for what it was because again, contained horror. I liked it. The gore is decent. It's a lot of gunplay because it's about a sniper, but it's creepy and it's handled well, except for the heavy-handedness of the killer's sort of motive and his thought process. So that
Hmm.
that which could weigh the film down for a lot of people, evidently, but it's still I would say that it's worth checking out. I think you might enjoy it. So that's all that matters. I think
That's Night of the Hunted.
that's Night of the Hunted. Yeah.
So it is a slasher then.
No, no,
Okay.
no, no. Sorry. Let me.
Oh,
I don't. I would not consider it a slasher, though.
okay. Well, then I'm not
I
watching it
mean,
now. Okay.
the
I'll add it
reality
some
is,
another time.
it's a guy with a gun that we don't see that ends up shooting people and sort of stalking people in that way. But I would not consider it a slasher.
Okay. All right.
I was
That's
just
fine.
talking about
That's fine.
watching it to watch it.
Gotcha. Okay. Did I talk about the sleeper last time or no?
Yes. Refresh my
Okay.
memory
Wanted
though.
to make sure.
Refresh my memory. Just
Well,
I
it's
don't want
set
to
in
be.
1981, but it was made in 2012. And
Yes.
okay.
Yeah, but you watch it for the was it? Did you watch it for the 2011 show, or am I wrong?
No, because this is 2012. No, no, it was
Oh,
actually
okay.
was. Yeah, it wasn't even there. No, I watched it because it was on the list and I heard it mentioned before. And it's on my list of 170 right now. And it came up and I watched it. Okay. I just wanted to make sure. Okay.
You
That
know
I didn't
what? You
talk
know
about
what,
it
Dave?
before.
I'm not 100%. Usually, I can remember. You might just give me a bit more information because I wrote
I'll
down
give you
some
some
movies.
notes. Yeah,
Yeah.
it starts in 79. They show something that went down. Looks like it might have the right look already. There's a sorority involved. Okay,
Yes,
Cindy and
you
Bobby. I
did
would have
because
mentioned
I
that.
said I
Okay.
hated the name. I remember now because I'm Sleeper. That's such a bad name for a movie. But everything
Yeah,
you
I
said
know.
about it, I liked because I wrote it down. But I'm like, I hate that title. It's such a blah
Yeah,
title for a movie.
I
Like
know.
you've really got to work. So like some people go for the hokey titles and try to lure people in. But I think it just has to have like a good sleeper. It just is not a fucking nothing is catchy about that whatsoever.
Right. No, no, I hear you. Okay, well then I'll talk about this one. Redeemer, Son of Satan, slash,
Last Reunion
aka
Massacre.
Clash Reunion Massacre.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. I
it's a
haven't
good
seen that
one.
in ages.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
I will say check it out. Here's the weird thing. It was filmed in 1976. So it was
Yeah.
filmed around the time Halloween was filmed. You know what I mean? And they had slasher things going on, but of course there's an added element. It has one of the weirdest starts you're ever going to see in any movie ever. They have a supernatural type element involved in it, and
Yeah.
it's never really explained why, but it's basically there is a clash. It's almost set up like April Fool's Day. Pardon me, not April Fool's Day, Slaughter High,
Slaughter High.
where
Yeah.
some people are invited to go to a class reunion and they get in there and they're
Yes.
locked in and they're the only ones there and they get bumped off.
Now, this
It's
is a
that type
movie
of thing.
I haven't watched this since like the heyday of like me watching slashers and whatever. Like this is like something like from the late 80s, early 90s. I haven't seen it since then. Now,
Not surprised.
is the killer does the killer wear a yellow like jacket or rain jacket, or is there someone in a rain coat or something in it? Or
I don't think so, but the thing is, um, he wears a skull mask, but he also changes appearances.
okay. Okay, I'll
So
check.
maybe you
It
did
was
see
worth
something.
checking out then again.
Yes, it's worth checking out.
Redeemer, everything's in form.
It's, but it had a cool ending too. It's ahead of its time. This movie, it was because it's slashery stuff. It's just it adds this other element to it of weird shit. It's like you watch it and a guy comes out of the water. It's just some weird things happening. But um, the kills are okay. They're fine. There's a cool. I like that the idea that they say let's start a fire for help. And that's something you don't see in a horror movie often when some people are trapped someplace. They say, hey, let's start a fire. The freaking alarms will go off and then people
Yeah,
will come here. That's a good idea. You know, you never see
yeah.
somebody bring that up in movies like that. So I thought that was cool. But it came out in what year did it come out actually? Was it 77? It might have even been released before
And then they
the
re-release it in
Halloween.
the slasher heyday with the new title of Clash Reunion Massacre. Probably that's probably where. I mean, I don't
Well,
know. I'm guessing here. I
it says 1978, The Redeemer, Son of Satan. That's what it is on IMDb. It goes by Class Reunion Massacre, but like it's a cool ass freaking what do you call it? Though? Look at that poster.
Yeah, I remember that poster. I remember
Yeah,
that
that's sweet,
poster.
huh?
Uh, and Clash Reunion Massacre. The swipe to the side and see if you can get the Clash Reunion Massacre one.
Yeah, Class Reunion Massacre has the face on it, the skull mask. I
Yeah,
remember seeing that.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah. Because I used to get that one in Slaughter High, even though they're totally different.
but
You
still,
know, in
they're
your young kid's
and
mind,
they use skull
but they
masks.
blended together. That's what I remember. So
Yeah. Now this one says this film was shot in about 4 weeks in July 77. But when you look at the you know how they got the year of the movie MCMX and it does in Roman numerals, it only had one number on it. It was 76. It was VI.
yeah,
It wasn't VII. So who knows? That's just maybe you have to
yeah,
get it first before you film. I don't know how that works, but yeah, it's definitely interesting. It's definitely one to
awesome.
see if you like slashers and haven't seen it. So
Well,
I gotta
or it ages.
half
That's
head
exactly
explosion.
that's what this is for. No, that's awesome. It's on
Right.
the list. I told you my first one I did was Bloody Murder, which is that total ripoff of Friday the 13th, where he's wearing the hockey mask on the cover, holding a chainsaw,
Oh,
coming
it's
out
from the
and it's
90s,
Bloody
right?
Murder. It's from year 2000 on the nose. I remember
Okay.
when this came out because I think
Remember that
Carrie,
box.
where Carrie was working when I met her, she got screeners and she got a crack in the floor, which is also brutally horrible
You
with
hated that
Mario.
movie.
Yeah, Mario Lopez, and this was the other one of the other ones. She got many other ones, but these were the two slasher-esque ones there. She got Anatomy,
Right.
which that's what I saw Anatomy, and I love that one. That first
Oh.
movie for Anatomy Part One, anyway. But anyway, other than it being a total Jason ripoff, there's nothing really redeemable about this movie. The kills are not all that great. It's badly made. It's flatly directed. It's just kind of just there. Like there's nothing to it, which is shocking that the sequel that has practically even more generic, has a generic cover, which is the hockey mask, which is not even in the movie, and a scythe or sharp instrument, blunt instrument. It's slightly better than the first cover, but not really. Kind of in the same
Hmm.
ballpark. The killer, though, in the second one, wears a totally different uniform. Like it's almost like a hoodie with a white mask, like a
Is
mine's
there a
mask.
reason for it having to change or no?
Nope, nope, they don't explain it. However,
Stupid.
the sequel is better than the first. It's not much better, but it's better. Better kills right out of the gate, a gory kill, but like the thumbs up.
A gory kill, thumb up. There you go.
Gory kills. the title at the beginning, you'll be like, uh-oh, what am I about to watch here? Because it so cheesily comes in that you're like, oh, this is going to be worse than the
Right.
first movie. But the movie itself is better. But then it just kind of like, again, there's nothing that you haven't seen before. This is by the numbers formula, but at least you get some nudity and some like fun. And it's at camp. The characters are somewhat more likable than the first one. It's better directed than the first one, better
Hmm.
edited, but it's
Okay.
not by any means a great movie, but it's worth, I think, checking out. I'd say like five and a half, six, whereas the first one's like,
Okay.
maybe four and a half type thing, right?
Okay. All right.
So
Fair.
that's Bloody Murder 1 and 2. If you're gonna watch one of them, go for Bloody Murder 2. You really don't need to see the first one
I might now,
to
just for
see the
kicks.
second, but they're both on Tubi. So I actually downloaded these because they're on Hoopla. So I had all these. It was the end of February, it's like a few days
Hoopla.
ago. So I downloaded them, and then I ended up watching them there. And then I realized that they were on Tubi as well. So they're all there on
Okay.
Tubi for everybody.
Oh yeah, Freevee is another one. Freevee. And
Oh, Freebie.
then
Yeah, you're going to mention those ones. Freebie.
I was gonna. I just pressed the button to put it up there, and it freaking left. Yeah, I erased it from my streaming services by accident.
Oh,
The other one I
no.
was going to talk about, just because I pressed the button to see a closer thing, and I lost it now. So that kind of sucks. I forgot what it was called. It starts with an M, I think. But it's another one I like. But for me, it was free. But for other people, they had to pay for it. So I don't know.
Oh,
But on my television and in the Google Play Store where I found it, I signed up. I think it's called Cult Films or something like that. Or damn it, it's gonna drive me nuts. Oh well, it's not important, I guess. Cult Picks, could that be it? Maybe? I don't know. Either way, I'll get back on next show about it. I'm interested though about Bloody Murder 2 possibly, but I gotta say I really don't like that era of early 2000s direct to video stuff,
yeah.
like friggin' Axum and that one, and like Killjoy and friggin' what else were they watching? Dead and Buried or Dead and Rotting, I should say. And there was a couple Asylum something or all these movies were coming out like direct to video rentals like the early
Yeah.
2000s, and they all had really bad freaking production values, bad act, everything about them was just bad. I feel bad for the freaking the kids that had to rent that stuff, honestly, because it was fresh and new, as opposed to 80s kids or 90s kids a little bit.
Well,
But
I mean,
anyway,
if you just stumbled across Bloody Murder 2, you'd probably think it was um just brutal. Like not even I was calling it Camp Blood. I think I called it Camp Blood 1 and 2
mhm.
earlier. It's Bloody Murder 1 and 2.
Right,
I think I corrected myself, but earlier in the show, I
right.
think I called it Camp Blood because I'm
You
like, I
did
think
say Camp Blood.
yeah, it wasn't Camp Blood because there's, I think, a bunch of those movies. It wasn't those
Oh,
ones.
jeez.
Bloody Murder 1 and 2. But I could see like if there's reviews here, it started at 1.5. I wouldn't blame someone for that. But compared
Right.
to part one, it was better. Of course, Donanelli gives it 4 stars. No,
Well, he
it's
doesn't
not
count.
that good, but it was up. It's close to. I'd say it's a 6 out of 10. It's a 6 out of
That's
10.
fine.
I
Right.
enjoyed my time with it, and especially after the first one, I enjoyed my time with it. So, like the first one, though, yeah, I like again, if you want to be a completist and you're going to watch them back to back, then watch it. But it was definitely, it wasn't, it wasn't good.
Right. No, I
But
get you. That's fair. So what next for me is I've already really discussed Blood Rage, so I don't have to say anything again. I
yeah,
appreciated it more than I have before. Um, okay, another movie with blood in the title, Bloody Beach. Bloody Beach. This is a
Blood
Korean
Beach,
movie.
Bloody Beach. Okay, Bloody Beach.
Bloody Beach. And let me
Never heard of
actually
it.
let me
I'll have
get you
to add it.
let me get you the year. But I'm pretty sure it's 90s because it's hold on though. Maybe it was even 2000. Bloody Beach. But it didn't feel like 90s. That's the cool thing about it. Actually, okay, it was the year 2000. A group of chat room buddies decide to meet together in reality on the beach for some fun in the sun. However, their vacation transforms into a nightmare as each murdered by the mysterious person, Sandmans with gruesome deaths. So Sandmans is like a this is actually also kind of ahead of its time because it's really about like I would what we saw later on with like cyberbullying stuff, like Unfriended and stuff
Yeah.
like that. They were doing here in this movie. They were kids that met in a chat room, and they decided to meet up for real life, and we started seeing like sinister text taking place. So you know what's going to happen here. It's a setup for when they get together. Someone is targeting this group, and so it has that old school feel. It's kind of cool. It's There's a well played underwater scene, which was scary when they showed it. There's a good psych out scene or two. What did I write here? I'm glad because it wouldn't have been very plausible, but we could get a good kill out of it. Okay, so that was the psych out scene. Okay, Sandman's is the killer from the chat room, possibly. Something happened in the chat room. So as the kids are hanging out, we find out that something happened in the past with somebody in the chat room, the Sandman's thing, and they don't want to talk about it anymore. So the kids are arguing about what happened. So, like I said, the cyberbullying stuff is ahead of its time. Um, there's a couple decent kills. It goes in a mystery territory amongst all of them. Who's doing it? You know what I mean? As you would expect. But these kids are actually smart too. They're not stupid. There's actually a little suspense in the movie. The score is more like a classical movie, like a Friday the 13th type thing, than a 90s movie is. It doesn't have that 90s type soundtrack with orchestra and bombastic sounds. It's more strings and subtle. You know what I mean? And there's even a couple
Awesome.
scenes where they're running in the woods that, yeah, I'm not going to oversell it. It's a half head explosion, but it also has a cool ending. But I'm having fun with these Asian slashers. There wasn't a whole lot of them, but it seems
Uh,
like their style is better than, the things that were happening with American slashers in the 2000s and the late 90s and stuff. So,
it's going to be an
so that's Bloody Beach.
interesting list bringing these into play
Oh yeah, it's
as well.
fun. I think my lip's gonna be honestly right now the way things are looking. And like I said earlier, instead of watching a remake of Prom Night, I'd rather seek out another foreign slasher or something. But I have a feeling out of 50, half of them might end up being foreign slashers. I don't know. Time will tell.
Well, do not watch the April Fool's Day remake.
I won't. I'm not
I
gonna.
got fooled the
Decided not
first
to.
time. I watched it the first time,
Yeah.
didn't like it. Watched it again back in the summer just because I'm like, well, it was available to me. I don't know if it was on Tubi or what, and it was not good. It was not good. But anyway,
Yeah.
this is the other one and two. It was Hayride 1 and 2. Now
Ah.
it's funny. I preferred 2 to 1. I thought 2 is better directed. I thought 2 had better kills. I thought 2 moved
Hayride.
better and looked better. However, when you look at the B, 1 got a 3.4 out of 10, and 2 got a 3 out of 10. Uh,
Wow.
so maybe I'm in the minority. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what everybody else said. Have you not seen these? I saw this way back. I saw part 2 way back when. This is
Direct to
a
video
total
2000s, right?
2012 and 2015 or 16,
Okay.
but
All right.
total rip off of Jason. It's literally part 2 Jason. It's Burlock Sap Jason, but
Wow.
if bitch tits Jason went into a suit.
Awesome. I was
It's
just
the
thinking
I
about him
feel
this
so
morning.
bad, so I apologize to the actor, but it's the fattest fucking killer this side of Slaughterhouse, and he fills that suit out
Buddy,
perfectly. That's it. I'm not
good
body
old buddy.
shaming. I'm just telling you the truth. The reality
He's
is
fat.
that, yeah, Hayride. Now again, these are all blending together, so I apologize. Hayride, I don't remember them delivering on much in the way of a good kill. There might have been one, but it felt like that the second one definitely has better kills. Not great, but better. But what
Mhm.
this movie does well, and it's also to its fault, is characters and story. They actually stop and try to give you some characterization and story and make you care about them, which is
And Hayride too?
in both of them. There's
Oh,
actually
okay.
stopping you, but the downfall is it's too long. It's almost like kind of like what I was
Ah,
saying about that Valentine's Bluffs. Get in, get out. Like you're wait now. I don't care. You're too long with the morose motherfucker, like in the hospital waiting in part 2, waiting to see what's gonna happen, and then the killer comes back. Like again, you blink. Do you have to see these movies, Dave? No. If you have to pick one, I still lean to the part two, but according to IMDb, most people like part one. Part one, I just thought was like shot more bland. And part two, it felt like he learned from making the first one and he got a bit better.
Hmm.
It's by no means a great movie. It's by no means a great movie. It seems like an early adapter of all the, like, I mean, I guess it was 2015, so it wasn't that early, but it seemed to be at the beginning of all these new digital movies that we're used to, like all the fan films and everything else that's coming out now. Every horror movie that's coming out that's shot on digital. This was at the beginning of it, to be honest. Uh-oh, you froze. Again, just for everybody out there,
Continuity.
we kind of got, yeah, continuity. I got booted out somehow. And so I was just finishing up with Hayride because our connection went down or whatever. It was crazy. But ultimately, Dave, I don't know if you need to see them, but
Right.
if you're going to watch one, I'd say part two was better. But this one, you kind of, it does follow a story with the same
Mm,
characters, so you might have to watch part one and two. But yeah, it's weird that
hmm.
what they do differently, which is actually spend time with characters and give you a little bit more of it, them actually works against it as just a fun slasher movie.
Shit. Yeah.
Funny enough, but
Yeah.
I thought it was better than a three, to be honest. Like I'm usually the hard one on rating these movies, and I would say
Right.
that uh Hayride
Well,
1 was like again, like a 4.5, 5, and a Hayride 2 was like a 6 again.
I think because you have enough presence of mind to know when you see that title and that movie and what's going on, that you're not going to have high expectations. I think people that rate it a 3 are expecting another Friday the 13th movie. Why they think it's that easy? I mean, in a way it is, but you know what I'm saying. I think people
Yeah.
see something and they fall for what they want you to fall for. You know what I mean? That's the trick.
Well,
This is the good slasher. It's like one of those Friday the 13th movies. Kids in a
well,
camp getting hacked and they got to kill. So they're expecting something that good. Then they're like, well, this is a shitty ripoff. So they're gonna come
well,
down on it.
I thought it was a shitty
But
ripoff from the cover. It looks
well,
like a
I
shitty
know,
ripoff.
right?
He's wearing a burlap sack. So I don't
That's
know.
what I'm saying.
It's kind of like Bloody Murder, where it's like,
Right.
oh, you're just aping off Jason with the hockey mask. Here you're
Same
ripping off
thing.
Jason with the burlap sack, but
Hmm.
sack. Excuse me. But it's for whatever reason, this one was less offensive to me, even though it was a carbon, like it was trying to rip that off. It just seemed to work a bit better, like the part one and two, but no means great. But I'm usually really hard on these movies, and I guess I enjoyed them more than most people. There are inexplicable things that happen that you can expect from most slasher movies, and then the tagged on ending even have in part two, which really doesn't seem to make any sense. Because they don't give you they kind of give you an idea of the timeline, and you're like, well, wait, what's happened in the last three years or whatever. But anyway, that's what if you have time and a six makes sense to you, maybe check them out back to back. I don't think you'd be upset by them. Like they're
Yeah.
not horribly made, but it's
Yeah.
definitely like more amateur, but not horribly made.
Well, if I can watch it on 1.25 and catch a nice buzz, then that would work,
There you
I
go.
think.
Well,
So
try it.
that's my caveat. I will. Okay, so okay, this is what I was trying to get into before when I said what's happened with like sleepaway camp, how the charms have taken over and it took time for that,
Yeah.
but there's charms in the movie and everything else, and that leads to the love of it, and that's what separates it from other ones. I've noticed that watching this movie this time, I the more I'm watching this movie, the more I'm enjoying it. And I've only seen it like 4 times, but it's coming up in the ratings, and it's the Mutilator. I got to
Yeah.
tell you, the Mutilator has charms to it. It has the opening credits being ridiculous, looking like an episode of Full House, the cheesy dialogue,
The
the
song.
song.
Yeah.
Dude, just even they interrupt it and they go into their freaking thing for a minute and they play a joke they go buy beer. They stop the song in the credits for a minute just for
Yeah.
a little joke about the kids buying it and the owners of the shop and what they're doing. And you know, all of the kills are really good, and you like the characters. Even there's so much good gore in this movie that even in a dream sequence, the father's dreaming about killing his son, and that's gory than most real freaking slashers when it's not a dream. Even the
Well,
dreams are gorier
they
than
knew they knew what to
what
deliver
to
on
do.
here. Yeah,
Yes,
the funniest part that comes from being somewhat charming and also ridiculous is the game of hide and seek
they should cut
or
it.
in
A
fucking
blind man's bluff.
blind man's buff when you can see fucking
Yeah,
everything.
it's ridiculous. It should have been cut. The movie was short as it is, but they could have saved 10, 12 minutes by taking that out of it and it would have been better. But what's cool is this, and I noticed it this time. I like the kids, yes, but the characters are actually foreshadowing their own deaths with the things they touch and the things they say. And I didn't realize it till this time. And
That's
I'm
cool.
not saying
Yeah.
it's fun. The dialogue is fun. The kids are likable. It's
Well, that I
it's
made fun of
simple
this when
and
we talked
effective.
about it, and it didn't make my
Right.
list, but I bought it. I've got the Arrow Blu-ray and I've watched it and I like it. So I agree. It's another one that's grown on me. Blood
Yeah.
Rage, Beautiful. Both the two that you mentioned tonight
Yep.
are two
Those are
that
the
had
two.
the sleepaway camp effect on me. Whereas I've come up and sleep. Even when we started the show, I was like thinking people were crazy and only giving sleepaway camp maybe like a 6.5 or whatever. And then I slow like seven and whatever. And I'm not up to a 10 by any means. It's never gonna
Right.
be. But I'm
Right.
definitely at like a half head now. And same with those two. So
Oh,
it's interesting. Like
yeah.
I would totally agree with you. And some of the things
Yeah.
that I was shitting on is part of its charm now as
Yes,
well.
it is. There's more and more. The more I watch it, the more fun I'm having with it. And it's got excellent kills, man. It's got great kills. And that's
Well,
what you want. That's what a slasher should be. That's what the focus should be on. Everything else is, inconsequential. It's just so be it. But you got to have things. You got to have good dialogue. You got to have people that are, fun. And I don't know. I think this movie's really good. I mean, all the kills are what they are. So
and
it's funny though, because one of the kills, the guy gets his head cut off. It's the one guy that work. It's the cop or the guy that runs the beach, or he's the patrolman of the beach. But when they show his head really quick on the ground, it doesn't look like him. It looks like Big Pussy from freaking Sopranos. The head
well,
looks like Big Pussy's head. And then
one of
later
the
on, they show the head again, and it looks like Joe Spinell's head. I'm telling
just
you.
bouncing heads around. That's hilarious. I wonder if it was just like a prop. Maybe they didn't even cast the guy. It's like, we'll just make a fake head. The guy's got this color hair. Okay, whatever, done. But the
Maybe.
funny part of it would be nothing to do with that movie, but the fact that they filmed and marketed and talked about the sequel that was supposed to come out with that horrible cover and the fact that it's supposed to be
Oh,
meta, which I don't like at all. Where
yeah.
is it? What the hell happened to it?
I don't know, but I'm not in a hurry. Although, now that I'm starting to appreciate this one more, maybe if it's coming from the same guy, maybe that's the whole approach. Maybe that's why it's being marketed that way. And it's going to have like a silly
Yeah,
type of charm to it.
but it could
I
be
don't know. Maybe
it
it's
could be Return to Sleepaway Camp as well.
right. And the
That
same
was the
guy
same
that did
same
that.
guy. Yeah.
Right. I was thinking that too. They might go down that route. I know, unfortunately. I
So
feel you.
that's cool
We'll
though.
see
Like
though.
yeah. Well, no, and I agree. I agree. I'm unless something changes or there's so many foreign slashers to boot it out. Um, but I believe that will be up on my my list as well. I think
Yeah.
based
No,
on
it
just
deserves to
the
be.
rating, it's there now. It's just a matter of like
Yeah.
realizing, oh shit, I haven't watched Dream Home again. I haven't watched like there's so
Right.
many movies I haven't watched.
For
Um,
sure. There's a lot. We're getting
my
them
next
though. I'm
one is
having fun.
another. My next one's a movie that I never even heard of. Came out in 2021. I found it on Hoopla when I was getting those other ones, and it's called Buzz Cut. And this is the
Buzz
cover of
cut.
it. So
Wow.
sorry, everybody. It's a
Was that a
visual.
girl
No, it's
or
someone in a
an
bee.
astronaut? It
It's someone in a bee outfit with a chainsaw.
was like an astronaut. Okay.
So in
This
the
should
bee
be a new
outfit,
game.
This is a
You show
comedy
me
horror.
pictures.
This is a
That's a
you guess
comedy.
what it is. It's a comedy horror.
Yeah.
It's gory. It's silly. I laughed a couple of times, but I also thought this is just stupid. And so it didn't really couldn't wait for it to be over. It was way too long and not enough gags. It's just, again, it was one of those, let's see what sticks. And from a comedy standpoint, like one of the characters carries around a blow up doll as like his companion. And like, it's like that type of comedy. It's like Animal House, but in a slasher film. And yet it's not funny like Animal House. But the slasher film, like at least the kills are decent. Like, they're gory, but
Hmm.
they're not the best
Okay.
special effects, but they're gory. So it delivers on
Right
that. But
on.
it's wild. No, I'd say I'd say it's another, like, 6 out of 10, but nothing worth. I'm glad I didn't regret my time with it.
Right.
100%. I did say that I did want it over because it's losing steam. It wasn't funny enough, nor was it
Hmm.
scary enough. So it was just like, it wasn't scary at all. So it's just like, okay, come
Well,
on,
that's the thing.
yeah, let's just get over it. So, that might even be a 5.5. But like,
Yeah.
if you can see it, check it out. It was on Hoopla. Never even heard of this movie before. British, so you might not like it.
Depends. I don't know.
Cheerio,
Maybe I will.
governor.
Yeah, right. All
Why are you
that. Yeah.
sawing my head off, governor?
Awesome. Oh man, that is what I picture. Okay. So I watched this one here for the first time in a couple years. Happy Death Day came up on the thing. I watched it, and I liked it. I liked it. I don't regret my time with it. It was fine. Um, in a way, I'm glad I came down a little bit because I didn't really, when I was thinking, now I never go into a movie and hate watch it. I never do. When I go in to watch a movie, I always want to have an experience where I notice more that I didn't know. Like, for example, Blood Rage and The Mutilator,
Yeah,
which have already on the list, but I'm noticing more things, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. They did this in the plot and whatnot, and this, and I have appreciation for it more. I want that to happen every time I watch a movie. If I haven't seen it in a couple years, I only saw it once, so I don't go in to hate watch it. But at the same time, when I think about a movie, Happy Death Day, and just
I,
the image
I
that I think of when I think of it, it seems like to me that something like that doesn't belong on someone like me, their slasher list. But and it's okay. I like I said, I'm fine with it. I like uh, the guy that's trying to help her. She keeps waking up and he keeps trying and failing. He's a nice guy, And the same thing with her. I'm not going to have sympathy for her, but then as it starts to go on, I do. I get more out of the character. We see her growth. I have to credit the movie because they slow it down a bit and they start actually having some suspense sometimes. And it isn't just the gag of waking up and doing
yeah,
this. It's paced well. Um, I like the fact that bodily abuse actually shows up on her. Usually, when you have something like this, that never even gets brought up when you're doing something again and again. She's reliving the same day, but every day she's getting her ass kicked. Even though it starts over again, her body's still actually experiencing it. So I think that's smart. They look at x-rays and they see that she's all bruised and everything else. Oh, another movie wouldn't even think to do that in its
yeah.
narrative. So
That's what ups the ante for the final act, I think, too, or the climax, is that she's got to do it
yeah,
because she can't do it. She can't keep doing it because
correct.
eventually, yeah,
It's
which is smart.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's always a plus to have a masked killer. The birthday candle. Let's see, birthday candle cool for fire. Oh yeah, they start a fire with it, and the way that yeah, that's actually pretty cool. She gets her life's lessons. I don't like how they did something to get the killer easily, kind of a cheat. That's what it was. When they finally figured it out, it was almost like they figured what was that other movie I saw not too long ago? Forgot what it was, but all of a sudden, Malignant. When somebody has a thought that I'm going to do this and that's going to work, and boom, it works, and I was like,
yeah,
I don't really think it would work that way. And why? Because you're appearing. How did you know that this? See, this is my problem when I watch anything that has to do with time travel at all or anything like that, I'm like, I can't help but see it and go, well, wait a minute. Just because you said that doesn't mean that's the way it's going to come out. Why would that person be in that spot just because you just died and reappeared there? And any other time you reappear somewhere else? How come you're reappearing in the now, or they are, or either way? I didn't like what they did, and that kind of brought it down a little bit. So I thought that was kind of a cheat. Um, I thought it was a bit contrived how she figures a lot of things out. But I still
So
like the reveal because I didn't see it coming. So I respect one of the reveals of something that went on with the cupcake, if you will, in that situation. I thought it was cool. So I still enjoy the movie. I don't regret my time with it. You know, it's another half
six and a
head.
half, oh, or seven,
Yep.
or six.
Yep.
It's 6.5.
Oh yeah. Well, so 6.5 is actually a mild rumble, isn't it? Yeah.
I
So
believe
it's a
so. I think
mild rumble. It is.
half head is,
It is.
yeah, 7 to 8, right?
There's the picture.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody
7 to
remember it.
point
See?
five,
Yep.
8.25. Okay. I need that
Boom.
picture again. I know because when my computer crashed, I lost some. I thought it was in it's probably in one exploding heads folder. I don't know where it is. So airdrop that to me.
I will right now. I'll try to at least. Airdrop. Let's
Uh,
see.
Everything's
Don't even
airdrop
get me
tonight.
started. Right.
I won't tell. Taxi Driver
Yeah.
was another movie. It's just a fantastic film. I'm not talking about that. We're talking about the horror films. Pitchfork, I watched because they call the killer Pitchfork in Hayride 1 and 2.
Oh,
So,
okay.
and then this one came out, and it look at the cover of. Okay,
Here we go
there's
again.
here we go again.
Let's
There's
see what that
Hayride.
is.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Oh,
There's
I've seen
Hayride
that
2.
before. Yeah.
But now watch, that's Hayride 2, and then this is Pitchfork. Now, I know that that's his hand is the pitchfork, but that looks like it's just a close up of
Yeah.
the pitchfork
They
from the
do it
other
on
picture
purpose.
almost. And
How bad
like,
is it that you're
okay,
aping off Hayride?
well, here it is. So I thought, so the killer's called this is called Pitchfork. I thought maybe it was a third movie. It's not.
Right.
I do remember this coming out, not people not really liking it. I will say this: great production value, okay acting, like good, good enough acting.
Mm-hmm.
Not great, good enough
That's
acting.
okay.
Gore, but the first half is much better than the second half. So
Oh,
the setup, some of the early kills, and once it's revealed to be a little bit more than what you might just expect from that poster and from us talking slasher, that's when it kind of goes downhill a bit. But
mm.
again, I didn't regret my time with it. There's a couple of misplaced or ill-timed one-liners and hero moments that
Oh, comedy
don't need to
shit.
be. Yeah, like I mean, I got
Uh,
to admit, like
doesn't
I
make
put this into
sense.
my student film. I did it, and they did it here, where someone says a line to the killer, you're like, you wouldn't do that in that moment. That's for us, the audience,
Right.
and you didn't nail it, so it doesn't even work
Right.
as a kick-ass moment in the movie. You know what I mean? Like when you have an Ash line that, like, all of a sudden it doesn't fit this movie, the character, or anything else. That happens
Right.
twice. There's also Dr. Giggles line that he does that comes out of nowhere that you're like, well, that doesn't even make sense. It's that why would you put that line into the movie? But there's
Right.
gore. It's well filmed. Well made. I put that in quotations because well made for this budget and this type of movie. I appreciate it. It was almost overlit, but I'm a sucker for backlit stuff. So it's like a lot of that backlit for stuff. So it's well, like everything, like the production value seems better, but it's almost over
Nice.
illuminated. But I prefer that than it being, what am I looking at
Then
here in the dark? What am I looking
right.
at? So
Right.
this is all like lit, like almost overdone, but I'll take it. It's just the first half is better than the second half. Again, I would say 6. Once again, I'm only saying that because I didn't regret my time with it. I would
Right.
never, but I don't think I'll ever need to watch it again.
That's a 6 to me exactly.
Yeah. So
That's what it is.
that,
Yeah.
so
That's how
I,
I do it.
yeah, I enjoyed it, and like I'm, right there with kind of like Hayride 2, and just in a different way. But yeah,
Right on. Okay. Well, I'm going to talk about a bad movie next, I believe. Yeah. Oh. Oh. Okay.
shoot me the title.
Now,
You always
it's
dance around
very
it.
it's very rare that I
Yes.
rate a movie this low.
Yes. That's why I'm
So
excited.
yeah. So the movie is called Honeymoon Horror. It's
Ooh,
from 1982.
honeymoon
Uh,
horror?
yep.
That's not the one with the couples on the bed or the wedding cake, is it? No,
No, hold on.
that's
I got the cover right here. Yeah, hold on. It's a cool cover. I'll give you that.
yes, that's the one I was thinking of. That's not the it's not what I said, but that's what I was thinking of. It almost looks like it was like but it's not good.
No, it's bad. What's it say here? In the tradition of Friday the 13th and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Honeymoon Horror. What? I never noticed that till just now. What is the tradition of Friday the 13th and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre? What do they even have in common? Except that they're well regarded horror movies.
They've got a masked killer. That's what they're trying to go for.
This does
Even though
not,
even though Friday the 13th doesn't have a
or does it?
masked killer, it's Friday the
Right,
13th Part 2 has a masked killer, that's that's what they're trying to say, and it's slasher film, essentially.
buddy. I didn't even
Yeah.
remember what the killer looks like because hold on though. I'll read you what this says. Imagine every newlywed's fantasy, a rustic, secluded lover's paradise, Honeymoon Island. What starts as a weekend of love turns into a nightmare of blood and terror for three young innocent couples. What lurks in the shadows of Honeymoon Lodge? Is it the caretaker or perhaps something more fiendish and deadly? Honeymoon Island, where newlyweds join in holy matrimony spend their wedding night screaming in terror. Okay. So
Was
the
this shot on video?
oh yeah, this is what the killer looks like. I don't think so. Wait till you see the killer. That's what the killer looks like because he's burned, right? Anyway, so this
Looks like the
movie
Toxic
begins.
Avenger.
Right?
Looks like
No,
part
I wish
one.
it
Like
looked that good. This movie starts off with a cheating wife. She's cheating with her man who's getting ready to go to work, and apparently it's like one of his close friends. And they start going at it shortly after this guy leaves for work. The guy comes back. Either he left something at the house, he forgot something, or he came from work early. I forgot what it was. He comes home, he sees them screwing around, a fight ensues, something happens, a fire happens, and the freaking guy, the husband, apparently burns to death. Okay, and they go out the room. Now, at first, one of my first notes is actually positive. Basic killed, but at least they're showing it because they showed a couple kills
yeah.
in the first couple things that happened, and they actually showed it. They didn't look great, but I think I was going back on a movie that I saw prior that didn't show anything. You know what I mean? I'm like, well, at least they're showing kills here. So, here's more of my notes. An island lodge for three couples gets boring quickly, just showing couples by themselves. The reveal doesn't make sense. Lots of survivors, and one of the kids looks older than the adult. So it's like you have like three people, three couples going to this place, which remember I told you the situation at the beginning where there was a fire and the cheating. Okay. So they had this lodge, right? And it's this guy and it's this woman, and there she married him now after her husband died, right? And she had to play the grieving widow, he said. So a grieving widow would insinuate that somebody's dead, right? Because when the killer shows up at the end of the movie and he's burned and it's the husband, it makes no sense. And I don't mind spoiling it because this movie is a turd and it doesn't make sense anyway. So this stuff goes down. Then you see three couples, someone, a newlywed and two other friends, two other couples that are friends. So three guys, three girls. But the thing is this, they go to this lodge where this other couple lives that killed the guy. And she wants to stop doing it, the one that owns it, and they want to move and everything. And they're going to leave in a couple of days, they said, and sell it and go off and do something else. But the couples, instead of showing six young adults together, they don't. It's a couples retreat. So you just get two on two, two on two, you just get couples together having conversations and doing things like that. There's nothing whimsical. There's nothing funny about it. It isn't like six young people together getting drunk. There's nothing good about the freaking dialogue. It's boring. It's just freaking couples talking about maybe they had marital problems or this or whatever they talk about. I was so zoned out of it that I couldn't even tell you what the hell they were talking about. But the kills really stopped. Maybe something else happens. I got so bored by what was going on here. And then the way they reveal it at the end, and like I said, one of the kids, and I call them kids, they're probably just, like young adults, right? But they go to the place, and this guy has this big thick porn stash, right? And he's freaking, he looks older than the freaking guy and the woman that are running the establishment. The one that killed the husband. And it's just, there was so many things. There was really nothing good about it. It's just whatever. It's a 2 out of 10. A
Wow.
2. A 2. It's
Yeah.
worse than Jason Goes to
Wow.
Hell. It's worse than freaking. There you go, Honeymoon Horror.
No, that's the one I thought you were talking about. That's just called Honeymoon.
Oh, that's Honeymoon. That's a good movie. And I don't know if it's a
Yeah.
good movie. I got the poster right over here.
Yeah,
It's a great
that's the one I
poster.
thought you were talking about.
Right.
Sorry. So, yeah, okay,
No.
2 out of 10. Holy shit.
It's on
And
YouTube.
I mixed some shit up. Pitchfork was a 5 out of 10. Sorry. It was a 5 out of 10 because that was the one, the second half I told you was not as good.
It was not as good. Right.
Yeah, I don't want, but I
Oh.
was just happy with the fact that it was lit well and that it looked
Right.
better than I was expecting for that low budget type movie. But I don't know if you'd like it.
Fair enough. Okay.
So just before for
No, I got you. All right.
Honeymoon Horror. I think I've got
Don't watch it.
one more. That's the one that I didn't finish. I have 5 minutes left.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not a big fan of it.
Yeah, well, that's all you need to say. Okay. I'm not
yeah.
a big fan of it. Okay.
Camp Pleasant Lake. It's a 2024. It's a slasher comedy. The only good thing it's got going for it is that people are going to this place expecting to be scared. It's like they're being set up to be like as if you're going to like a slasher sleepaway camp, like for fun. That like you're supposed to be set up to die, and anybody could die. So the killers are free to go kill people, and they do it in front of other people, and everyone's like, okay, me next, that type of thing. There's like 2 scenes like that, and while they're fun, you'd figure someone's like, hey, this is really happening. No, because everybody just dies instantly when they get stabbed in the gut. Like some guy falls down holding his intestines, and other people are like, okay, me next. Like, when you think that if you had any life in him, like, get the fuck out of here, this is real. No, everybody just dies and falls. So it's stupid. It has gore. Like, what all these movies, they actually are showing gore. So if they're delivering on one actual aspect of a slasher movie, which we always say has been lacking in some of these other ones, and some of them have had nudity. This one is like, I don't know, it's not smart enough. The acting's bad, but I will say it's got gore and it's got a lot of kills right now. But again, I don't know. Right now it's like a 4 or 5 out of 10. Like I wouldn't recommend that you check it out.
Well, there you go. Okay. Well, I have a couple left. Should I save them for next time?
No, give me at least one more.
Okay. Well, I watched Funhouse Massacre. First time I watched it since it first came out, because it came out since we've been doing the podcast.
It was that year, I think, and I remember
2015.
liking that.
Yeah, 2015. You know what? I liked it more than I did before, but unfortunately, it's not going to make my list. But I definitely came up on it, and there's what you said is one of the problems with it. People are getting killed in the funhouse for real, and they're dying. It looks good and everything, but the convenience of it is that it's only happening because you got to think about it. If it happens, then you have the whole rest of the night to worry about, not just the 6 characters we're focusing on. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it really wouldn't play out that way. And that's like the only real knock. I mean, it's not, I don't like the score. It's a real guitar score. Like, and it's just, it just doesn't fit, but it's got a good cast. It's cool. I don't even want to give it, it's definitely worth your time. Go watch it again. It's you get introduced to the people that are convicted. Robert Englund's the freaking warden that runs it, and they got they got a cannibal chef, a murdering dentist, a taxidermist, some big underground wrestler that was killing people. And then this girl comes in. There's a quick rampage from her. Clint Howard's in it. The guy that played Malachi is in it. Freaking. So they got different people.
The guy who played Malachi.
Yeah, what is his name again?
I don't know, but I love how that's his claim of fame.
Yeah.
Wasn't he also? No, anyway. Yeah.
He's done some more. I forget his name. His first name has it's almost like a female type name too. Um, damn it, what the hell is his
He was
name?
in
Do I
Can't
gotta
Buy Me
look it up now?
Love. That I know. Can't Buy Me
Children
Love.
of the Corn. Let's see what his name is. He was really, huh? What the
Hmm.
hell is this? Children of the Corn. Tanika? What is this? Oh, I went to the wrong one. 2020. That's what came up first. Sorry. I'm like, Tanika. There's no Tanika in this movie. What the hell was
Yeah,
Courtney?
I
Courtney
know you said he had a
Gaines.
female name, but I didn't think it was Tanika.
Courtney. No, it was Courtney. Courtney Gaines. Okay. So anyway, he's in there. It takes place on Halloween night, which is always a good thing. It's always a plus.
Yeah,
They open this freaking fun house. They go to the place. They kill the people that really run the fun house, and the lunatics are running the asylum. And we have our people. We like our kids. They're actually they're a good group. I really like the final girl. She's cute. She has a good personality. Um, she's there's one real bad scene. She runs and then she jumps on top of this guy's back. That's a killer. But the way she jumps, it is so like slow and weak. It's like she just walked up to somebody and just like for fun, just like jumped on like a little girl playing with her dad or something. You know what I mean? That was like one thing. I'm like that they should have done that again. But Kirk is in there from Dear John. If you remember that show back in the day,
Dear
he
John.
plays
Yeah,
a
I
yeah,
like Dear
he plays
John.
a religious leader that got busted, and his daughter is really cool. I mean,
But didn't
talk
he?
about a
Didn't he?
sexy killer.
Didn't he have a show of himself, or didn't he have a really popular show of himself? I can't remember.
Not that I know of.
Silver
I don't know,
something. I
maybe.
can't remember. Anyway,
But here's what happens in the third act, especially.
firework.
Especially. Most of the kills are good. Like I said, there's multiple killers, and that's okay. But most of them are good. There's some unfortunate contrivances, but it's okay. It's a cool premise, a simple idea. And I like that. And the kills are mostly good, like I said. So, but the comedy really, it was really unnecessary, and they really ramp it up in the third. Like they had a cop that's in there, and he's basically the comic relief, but he's like so stupid and so bad with the comedy. It just goes overboard. It's like you had a good kick-ass kind of horror movie here. It could have been scary. It could have been. You didn't have to go, and then it gets the comedy really
Is it
boosted
your
up in
Thank
the
You, Freddy?
freaking in the last act. Yeah, people saying bad comments when they're in danger, which I don't like. You're not going to joke when you're in danger.
That's
Just
that was
like
that
what you said.
that was the movie I was talking about.
Yeah.
Pitchfork or one of the fucking movies. Again, like I
Either
said, they're
way,
all blending the fucking together, but that's exactly it.
right.
But
Well, I enjoy it's unnecessary comedy. They didn't have to go into that. And they really doubled down on it in the third act. I was like, that's not the time to do it. And the lead guy is okay. Like the lead girl is really cool. The lead guy is okay, but sometimes he's just a little bit too pathetic. Like I know we're supposed to like him and we do, but he said, well, I was afraid to what the hell did he say? Something really bad. He's like, I don't even want to talk. I forgot what he said. He didn't want to do public speaking, but he says he feels like peeing his pants when he says something at work or something. I don't know. They make him too pathetic. You know what I mean? I understand you want to make it him endearing and everything else, but it was just too much. The movie does have some heart too, and I like it, but it's just gonna fall short. It's not gonna make the
yeah,
list, but I still have to recommend it. You know,
I remember
to
really liking it. I think I
check
gave
out.
it a 7 out of 10 back in the day.
There
I
you
just haven't
go.
watched it again though.
I'm just below that, so I get you, but it's
Yeah,
definitely worth checking out. And then I watched the movie. You said there's someone inside your house. I liked it. The opening kill gets you wondering what's going on here. The ex-boyfriend issues, something's going on in her past. There's a good church scene, which you don't see that much.
yeah,
The kids are all being questioned. Everyone telling secrets, and I get that gimmick. That's good. The Nazi bong stuff is
yeah.
funny. That's cool. I like him as a character. Interesting mask gimmick, although I couldn't tell that they said it. Oh, that's right. I didn't realize that the first two people got killed that the killer was wearing a mask of them. It just looked like a regular guy to me. And then they made that a big thing. Then I kind of noticed it later, but it didn't like stick out to me like, oh,
Yeah.
look at that looks just like him and he's killing them. It didn't work that way for me, but it's okay. Ultimately, this is what I said. There's too many contrivances that had to happen at that exact second in order for things to work out. Then I said, then they're driving all over that fire. I guess at one point they have a car and they drive into a freaking
Yeah. Well,
torching freaking cornfield. I'm like, well, the
that
car would have blown up.
That's like
It's
the
just,
one weird part of the movie, but
yeah.
I I let it go because I enjoyed it. I was like, well, I've enjoyed this way more than I even remember enjoying it. Because I think I gave it like a
Hmm.
6, 6.5, and I like I said, I think it was a 7 or just above. Like I mean, I'm not. It's not like the second coming, but I was
No.
pleasantly surprised at how much I was enjoying it.
No, there's good to it. There is some good going on.
Yeah.
It's not. It's in the same position that Funhouse Massacre is for me. It's not going to make the list, but I'm glad. I don't regret my time. I was okay with it. Like even the beginning when that guy scores that touchdown. You mean to tell me a whole audience on both sides of the whole thing when you go to a high school football game, a guy's on the 20 running a touchdown back and everybody's phones are going to go off and everyone's going to reach into their phone instead of watching the game, and it's going to
Yeah.
hit at that exact second saying that this guy is gay or something and did something, and he crosses the finish line and there's silence and everyone's just sitting there and
Well,
a guy getting
yeah,
killed and he pulls.
that's
I'm like, come on.
convenience. That is convenience.
Yeah,
That's
there's a
no
couple
different.
things like that in the movie,
Well,
you
that's no
know.
different than Promising Young Woman, which was my favorite
That's
movie
what
of
I
the
said.
other
I didn't
year,
like it. That's why I
was
only gave it a 9.
one of those
I
things
hated
that like,
that.
well,
Yeah,
I
that,
get
that
it.
ruined the
I get
movie for me. I was like, this movie should no way be up for any Academy Award when they do something that damn stupid. It's just, it was stupid. Exactly. Promising Young Woman. How would they know? She even said it for a certain time. She would have had to known exactly when they're going to be at the altar. And she's dead already. Oh God, don't even get just stop insulting your audience, man. Seriously, it's so stupid. It just was. But I
but
liked the movie. And I figured it out right before the reveal, though. There was this one scene there, and this I'm like, oh, that's who the killer is gonna be. And
yeah,
and then a second later, there's a stabbing, and they take the mask off. I'm like, boom. Took me till the end to figure it out, but I got it. You know.
but
So
it was holy shit.
it was.
It was more old school style. Not again, it was modern, but I'm just saying the who done it and everything else. It
Yeah.
enough that I was like, wow. I don't know why I was. I think I wasn't really hard on it, but why I didn't give it to that 7 or 7.5 range the first view. Um, because I really enjoyed it. And I'm glad you enjoyed it too. Even if it's not going to make your
Yeah,
list, I'm glad
I
you
liked it.
rewatched it
It's
at
not gonna
least.
make the list, but yeah, no, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it.
Though that one, put it this way, based on my enjoyment, that one was heads and tails above any of the ones I mentioned tonight, other than Night of the Hunted. Night of the Hunted, I'd say is a 6.5, 7.
Hmm.
Not great,
Okay,
but it's a 6.5, 7. But it's not a slasher. I'm just saying. But if you're going to watch that,
right,
that's
but
kind of the
still,
range I'm in. The other movies, if, just for the listeners out there, I'm probably going to be a 1 whole or 1.5 whole points over what you'd probably rate these movies. Because it depends. Like sometimes I'm the hard ass and be like 0, half a point, whatever. But I
yeah,
don't
we
know.
love
For
slashers though.
yeah, these are slashers. I mean, like, so I
Yeah,
know I'm going in and going to get like people set up a characters and set up for the kill, that type of thing. And if they do it well and it's, the production values are good, then I'm on board.
right on. That's good.
So
No, I'm
awesome,
with you.
man.
Well, I got two more, but I'm gonna save them for
Oh,
next time.
okay, yeah. Or do one. Give me one more. Why not?
Okay, I'll give you one. The Tripper. I enjoyed
Oh,
this movie.
yeah. I got to rewatch that one. I that David Arquette directed that, right?
Dude, David Arquette directed it and he's in it, and there's all kinds of people in it. Like the freaking
Yeah,
the cast, it's
yeah,
crazy. They got Jason Mewes, they got freaking Jamie King, they got Thomas Jane, they got freaking Arquette's in there. Paul Rubens is in there, Courtney Cox shortly is in there. But it's cool because it speaks to me because it's about freaking there's the music festivals and there's hippies going into the music festivals. So you got that whole scene and their party and everything else. And then you have people, and a killer walking around in like a Ronald Reagan type mask, going around killing them.
yeah,
I wish there were more kills. I almost wish that the festival had a smaller um crowd because it would have been a little more intimate. But it was still cool. It's just that ultimately it needs more slasher killings and less cops and dogs. They spent a lot of time with that. But I really enjoy it. There's a cool intro. The guy loses his wife and his kid in the beginning, because the kid kills a protester, and they're cutting down trees, and these people are protesting, and so there is all type of communication in the movie that's kind of political. It's done a little bit satirically, like a South Park thing, but I don't know. Um, I don't mind because I know what they were going for, but they were making fun of everybody. They were making fun of conservatives. They were making fun of hippies. They were making fun of everybody. So that's what I mean by South Parkish. They were just kind of, you know, but it wasn't over the top in the comedy, and there was no comedy in the wrong part. There was actually some, you know, some decent stuff going on here. It's just there's yeah, there's nice looking gore in a couple scenes. You care about the characters enough. Very pretty girls, actually. I liked them all. Yeah, what's her name was in it? Paz was in there. Paz Huerta, whatever her name is, was one of the other girls. And like I said, Jamie King, and then
Well, I think Jamie King, we don't give her as much credit for being like a horror scream queen because she's probably done so many other movies that horror still only represents a small portion. But I mean, when you think
right.
of it like in the sense of like, well, Sin City's not horror, but the
No, but
graphic
she
novel
did.
style, The Tripper,
Yep.
My Bloody Valentine that we did a few shows ago. She
Silent
did
Night.
Mother's Day remake, Silent
Yep.
Night remake.
She's the remake queen.
And then she was in that 2 seasons of that zombie show that I loved. Summer,
Oh, okay.
oh fuck, the
Summer
summer,
of Fear.
no, Black Summer.
Cruel Summer. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Black Summer. That's right.
And
No, no, she's
so
good. She's good
yeah,
stuff, you know?
yeah, man. And
But
we don't really give her credit because but I'm saying because she's got a vast filmography, and so the horror is only a portion of it. But if that was all she did, I think people would be like, hey, check this girl's
right.
like in this and whatever. But it's she's done so much more.
True.
Anyway,
True. I could see some people not liking this because they're not going to relate to the aspects of the drug use and all that stuff, and excuse me, the trippy stuff and whatnot, and not caring about it. So that's fine. It's just something that I like. It's two worlds coming together that you don't usually see together: a slasher movie and freaking hippies. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So it's just like, okay, this is kind of cool. It's fun. Rocky George was one of the performers on stage when they were having a band play, and I only knew that because I looked at the credits because I wanted to see one of the girls' names. And I saw him in there, Rocky George from freaking Suicidal Tendencies. I was like, oh
Yeah.
wow,
I
weird.
didn't even remember that. I saw this once too, and I remember enjoying it. But
Yeah,
yeah, I have
yep,
to rewatch it yet again. Another one to add to the rewatch list.
yep.
So
Great final kill too. Actually, I'll say
yeah,
that. But it's worth your time. Again, it's not going to make my list. It's just falling short. These last couple are just falling short. I have one more, but I'll wait till next time. But it's interesting because the guy that kills in this movie and the guy that kills in the next movie uses an axe. An axe is his primary weapon. And I just
see,
happened to know it was like if we were doing like a show tonight, just reviewing those two slashers, that
yeah,
would have been weird because it would have been the
and I
freaking
could have used the
what
pitchfork motif.
right. I know, and you got all the pitchforks.
Well,
That's pretty cool.
just before we go, have you seen Shrooms? And is it a slasher movie?
I have seen Shrooms. I liked it. It's been a while. I don't recall it being a slasher.
It was in the Tubi slasher section, but I don't. Again, just like this book over here, I don't know how much weight I put on it. Like the Tubi slashers that I know are slashers are pretty like evident. Like it's like they wear it on their sleeve. Shrooms, I haven't seen, so maybe I'll just watch it, and I'll be the judge.
Well, it does say here slasher trying to be different. Standard slasher movie with a twist. Boom! Shrooms is on the list.
There we go.
Unless it was already on my list. Yeah, I never know what's on my list half the time, but let's see. Shrooms. Let's see if it's on there. 2007. Okay, let's add it to the list and see if it's already there. That's how I find out. I try to add it. Nope. Now we have 171 in freaking the year of the slasher
There you
watch
go.
list. Although some could come out. Some could come out, like I said, April Fool's Day remake can come out. And there's some others I'll just look at. I'm like, yeah,
Do you have
okay.
the Zero
That's
Boys on
even.
there? Is that considered a slasher? I remember having that argument there where it was like kind of actiony, kind of horror, but there's like a knife and like whatever. And I remember it could have been on that spectrum. I got to rewatch it again though to really
What is it called? The
decide.
what boys?
The Zero Boys
Zero.
came
So
out
like
like
a
in
I'm thinking,
'86, I believe.
really? Yeah, the Zero Boys. A group of friends travel to a wilderness area to play a survival game. So they unexpectedly find themselves in a real life survival situation. Hmm. Interesting.
Yeah,
Action horror thriller.
Nico. Nico
Kelly
directed it.
Maroney. Nico, huh?
Yeah, he just
Let's
directed
see. It
something else
wasn't me.
too.
It was Jason. Cornball horror pick. If you like 80s films that are bad, this is the gem. Possible thrills for 80s horror completists. It's pure teen trash. Nobody says slasher or not yet, though. So that's what I look at. I look for people to start saying slasher, you know?
Well,
Hmm.
we'll figure it out by next show, but let's wrap this bad
Yeah,
boy up because I got to go
absolutely.
eat.
I know you do. So do I. I got to eat too.
Yeah.
What the? I haven't eaten since
Yeah.
I had
Come on,
breakfast.
man.
No wonder I was
Well,
so
anyway.
crabby earlier. Holy cow.
Yeah. You don't know the half of it, everybody out there.
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
Well, I'm glad this all came back because I was worried when I got booted out that I wasn't going to be able to finish this, but we did. So
We
thank
pulled
you.
it off.
Thanks, Dave. I
Yeah,
like these
man.
shows. I'm liking this. Like, it's like, instead of just focusing on two movies to talk about, like we just do what we watched, and most of them happen to be slashers because we're ramping up. And I did the math as you already did, but just to reconfirm, it will be the second episode in September, assuming no breaks
Assuming no breaks. Right.
or anything crazy that happens. It will be September.
I have a feeling that I'm going to be done by June, and then I'm going to have to start rewatching because I'm watching so many right now, which is
Well,
fine. That's
yeah,
fine.
I honestly can't imagine my top five being uprooted in any way.
Oh, yeah,
Definitely
I
my
don't even
top
know.
two. I definitely my top two. I know what those are going to be. No, probably my top five. I think I know what that would be, and then anything else will just fit in. It's just being again rewatching Terrifier 2 because I rated them pretty high.
Hmm.
And so there's those two movies. There's what other Cold Prey 1 and 2, and I
Right.
remember rating those both pretty high. So I've got a like right there. There's four. They're
Oh, there's
not
so many.
franchises because they didn't go to four films, but we know that there's a third Cold Prey, and we know that there's a third Terrifier coming. And so anyway, and I did
Right.
watch The Strangers new chapter 1 preview. I watched it. I thought it looked great.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
all I'll say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right on.
Well, I think it
Interesting.
looks like a
Okay. It's a
combination of part.
reboot.
Yeah. Well, oh, is it a reboot? I thought it was a origin.
Has to be. Oh, I
I
heard
thought
it
it,
was a reboot, but what do I know? I
well,
stay out of that.
they say chapter 1, so that's why I'm only assuming and
True.
based on when I saw the preview, but don't quote me because I know you don't watch previews. I don't want to ruin anything, but
Right. No worries,
I feel
man.
like it's a setup, and it looks like a combination of the first movie and Pray at Night. So I'm all on. I'm all on. You know what I mean? I'm in. But anyway,
I'm in.
let's
Right
wrap this
on.
fucker
Yeah, let's wrap it up. All right. Well, I'll continue to be tweaking this list. So go on to
and twerking.
go to Letterboxd and look it up. Yeah, and do that. And if you're listening now and you're just getting this show now and you're not on Patreon, go sign on Patreon. And you know what? You can get on Patreon. I keep forgetting to say this every time. There's a free 1 week trial. So you could
Yeah.
go on for 7 days for free, sign up and freaking whatever. Listen to whatever shows you want to and then see if you want to stick around with us. But I mean, why the hell not? There might be some shows you want to see, especially the big ones like, show freaking 200, which by the time you hear this
Yeah.
is going to be whatever, but still there's some good shows.
And I think, and this is not uh arrogant thing. This is not coming from any place of like we're the best because that show 200 was an amalgamation of a lot of horror fans
Yeah,
movies
man.
and lists. I think
Yeah,
when they put those collider lists out, it's just some fucking guy, maybe a random couple people. Like we
right.
have a lot of people coming in. I think there's weight that when that hits the mainstream, I know this fucking sounds pompous. I know everybody, but when it goes out to the masses, I think that list should be put out somewhere
It
as
should.
a representative of here is the definitive top 200 list based on this criteria. Doesn't mean other people will always agree because that's what lists are. You pick
So
from
be
it, you
it.
take from it, whatever. We're doing it for the slasher list and making a list of ones to watch from that. But I think there's enough credibility that it's not just you and me. This is a
No.
bunch of people that contributed to it. So I think it holds
Hmm.
a lot of weight as being
I'm with you.
a great list. And based on what was at the top there, although there's some surprises, like the top movie was representative of what I believe was one of the best horror movies ever made. So I'm all for
Certainly,
it.
a lot of it is I'm agreeable to it, and that's what we're doing on Jay of the Dead's new horror movies. Jay has made it a thing. Like tomorrow, we're going to record. We're going to talk about the number 28 movie, I believe. It gets pulled up on random, and it's Hellraiser.
Yeah,
And he's like, okay. And then the discussion is, does this movie deserve to be on a top 200 list? And if so, why or why not? And it did, discussion of the attributes of the movie and where
that's
it
cool.
sits and things like. So yeah, at least Jay, God bless him. You know what I mean? He decided to do that and said this will be fun to do because he
Yeah,
really, enjoyed that show, and he's been doing podcasts and listening to them for freaking as longer than we have even, or So it's like, hey, people can appreciate it. So yeah, hopefully when it does get out there, we should just start writing. I'll write an article.
there we go. Oh, there's
On
not
that.
much, like, at the end of the day, it's not like we have to, it literally can be the list. So,
Right.
I mean, and ultimately the introduction would just be how the list was compiled. But anyway,
Mm-hmm.
that's it for me. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go eat. I got some
Yeah. Me
nachos
too.
waiting for me. Anyway, good night,
I got
everybody.
pizza. Yeah. Much love. Peace out. Manchichi, Manchichi, and we love you.
Yeah, take care.
You say